There's a CM Unk sign in the crowd.
He overshoots.
He jumps into the front row. I've met people who are like the Vanity Project, and they make me really, really pissed.
It just feels like a slap in the face to the intelligence of the viewer.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Locked Up.
Finally!
Let me get this out of the way before we do anything. We've missed, 3 weeks now. We've both been very busy. The last time we tried to do this last week, we forgot to hit record. We recorded a whole 3-hour podcast and forgot to hit record.
Oopsie.
But now we have a quick condensed notes thing that Henry and I wrote up. Mostly Henry. I did one little thing. And we're just going to go through it really quickly. So we'll start with the Great American Bash, which was the same day as when we recorded. D'Angelo beat Naraku very quickly for the NXT Championship, retained it. There was a watch party there where Keanu Carver attempts to murder Hank Walker. Kendall Gray is the new NXT Women's Champion after beating Lola Vice in a great match. You move on to Forbidden Door, which was at the same time, I believe. Tekla defeated Starlight Kid, retained her Women's World Championship, and took Starlight Kid's mask. Mercedes Moné defeated Maya World for the Women's Owen Hart Cup, and she will challenge for the AEW Women's title at All In. There was a 12-man steel cage match during this, which was insane. It was the Don Callis family and MJF versus the Conglomeration, Darby Allin, and Konosuke Takeshita. It was a crazy match.
So many funny moments from this match while still keeping the importance of the match.
Darby Allin rigged a backpack with explosives, which exploded on Kevin Knight, who fell through 4 tables. Kyle O'Reilly smashed, I think it was MJF over the head with a Nintendo Entertainment System. Leo Rush was in this match. He just shows up out of nowhere.
In a body bag.
Hockey bag.
Or yeah.
Comes out of a hockey bag.
Yeah.
Which then they stuff him back in right afterwards. Andrade turned face during this matchup where he had a shirt on underneath that said F Don Callis, F MJF, and then How You Know. And Briscoe pinned MJF for the win. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. Swerve gigged really, really deep for this one. He was bloody, and it started spewing out.
This was a scary thing, and it's weird because I talked about it last week, but that wasn't recording. But I'll kind of reiterate what I was saying last week, which was just that he had that spot into the steel steps where his face hit the corner, and it was very believable. The blood was believable at first if you saw the spot, and then it just got worse and worse over time where he's just bleeding out more. And obviously, he gigged, so it wasn't natural, but it was just awful to see. And Ospreay bled a lot in that match as well.
Ospreay ends up winning this match, and he challenges for the world title at All In, which we thought would be MJF, but we will get to that later.
And then we go to Monday Night Raw, and really not too much to take away from this. Really just a lot of setups for further shows. The only thing that I have written down is that Roman Reigns cuts a promo, and then we will have Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns set up for SummerSlam, likely one last time before Seth Rollins retires.
Then we go on to NXT. Jackson Drake beat Mason Rook.
Very good match where Mason Rook hit a Samoa Joe nope spot in that match. There were a lot of great moments. But Jackson would pick up a cheap win after all of that, and then Vanity tried to attack afterwards, and that did not work for them. Because it's Mason Rook, and what are you going to do? But that was a really underrated match and great, one of the best matches of the week.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Then we had Keanu Carver versus EK Prosper 2. These guys have great chemistry. You wrote that down. I completely agree.
Yes, they are amazing in ring. The powerhouse and high flyer combo between those two, while Carver isn't just a powerhouse as he can move quick as well. It's a perfect mix in ring and something that NXT needs.
Carver loses again off of a moonsault. We go to Dynamite.
There is one.
Osprey.
Sorry, if you don't mind, there
Nope,
is
go
one
ahead.
more thing from that match that should be mentioned, which is Tank did come in to get revenge on Carver for what he did to Hank and threw Carver into a barricade before the moonsault that Prosper would win off of. So a little bit of a cheap win for Prosper, but Prosper is 2-0 against Keanu Carver, which is crazy.
So then we go to Dynamite. Osprey is officially in the Death Riders, which is announced at the beginning of this match. MJF versus Kenny Omega is announced for the week after, if MJF beats Briscoe that night, which he did. The women's world title, the women's TBS title, 6-way survival of the fittest. Hikaru Shida wins after Persephone attacks Statlander. So I believe probably at Redemption we will get Statlander versus Persephone.
I believe that's probably what it's building to, but that was a really interesting steal of a win in such a big match. Because Persephone just out of nowhere coming off screen after she got pinned with the title, hitting it on Statlander, then Hikaru with the roll up. It was a really great finish to a great match as well.
Yeah, and then obviously Shida's gonna be great with the belt anyway, because it's Hikaru Shida. Collision on Thursday, for some reason. Tekla has a promo where she tells us way too much about her experience at the club. Bang Bang Gang and team up with Cope to go against Shane Taylor promotion. Bang Bang Gang and Cope win in Jay White's return match. The Dogs enter but get attacked by the Death Riders. David Finlay still is able to get to Jay White. Fletcher versus ELP. Fletcher wins. Don Callis cuts a promo on Takeshita. Takeshita scares him out of the ring.
But yeah, that was a very interesting end to that show because I felt like it didn't really... I mean, it elevated the whole Fletcher and Takeshita thing a little bit, but I feel like it didn't give us... It didn't feel like a main event moment, you know? No, Takeshita just kind of runs in and scares Don Callis, and that's like it. You know what I mean?
Whoa, Takeshita.
Yeah, basically.
Same night is TNA. Impact.
Nick Nemeth starts with a promo on the episode of TNA on July 2nd. And he has a old-timey scroll with the names he's beaten in the ring. He calls it a body count scroll, which is already getting groans from the crowd. He goes down the list. Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, names them both as if it's not just the same person. But then,
oh, dude, that
was hilarious. That whole segment was amazing. But then Casey Navarro comes out, and Nick wants Casey and Ryan to have a match. Ryan Nemeth, of course, because they're bickering, and he's trying to solve things in any way. Then we go on to the injury report, where the voiceover announcer breaks character while doing the personal concierge's report. He had the mist to the eyes, and when having to deliver the report about him being like temporarily blinded or whatever, he just starts completely breaking, and it's amazing. Zaya Brookside then enters for her promo.
And Nick Nemeth wants you to know.
Nick
Nemeth wants you to know that he's in peak personal, he's in the best condition of his life.
Physical condition. Nick Nemeth wants everyone to know. For the injury report. I forgot to mention that. I'm glad you mentioned it because that's like the most breaking news of the entire time that we've been away.
And this isn't the first time that he'll do this episode.
Not this episode, but this episode of the podcast, yeah.
Yes. No, he will do this. What, did he do it this week?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He did it this week.
Yes, he did. Anyways, Zaya Brookside then cuts a promo, which Lei Ying Lee enters just about immediately, and then after they bicker for some time, Zaya misses an attack, and then a no DQ match is announced by Lei Ying Lee when leaving the ring. Then we have the Ryan and Casey Navarro match that we mentioned. Casey Navarro takes a very quick win, and then Nick Nemeth turns on him in the ring. And Ryan and Nemeth beat him down to end the show.
Yeah, that was It was a really well done heel turn though. Not a
Yeah.
heel turn. He was still a heel, but it
Well,
was
yeah,
a really good turn on Navarro.
yeah, exactly. And right after we go to SmackDown, and then we go to Danhausen's lab, where he is using a phone from I don't know when. That was like before rotary dial. He has one of the like
The Alexander
talking.
Graham Bells.
Yeah, whatever the heck. I forgot exactly what they're called. But then Matt Cardona enters because all this stuff has been going on in the lab. And Danhausen says, "Hey, it's Zack Ryder." And in the back is Miz and Kit Wilson, who go, "Woo, woo, woo, you know it." So obviously, whatever his experiment is affecting other people now.
One sec.
Later in this segment, Danhausen versus JD McDonough is randomly announced for Saturday night's main event, and then Danhausen, when asked about the phone, says that he is talking to someone from New York, which we will eventually get to later.
Frank Sinatra.
It wasn't Frank Sinatra. That would be crazy. The experience.
I wish.
He just comes back from the dead. Cloning machine.
Just imagine.
Just
all
like
he hears is just, "It's up to you." I can't sing this on YouTube because we'll get copyright claimed.
the pop would be insane. Anyways,
Oh my god, it's Frank Sinatra, my god!
that would be wild. Anyways, Danhausen's experiment then fails, and Miz and Kit just fall to their death in the background with a bunch of smoke. To continue the craziness that was SmackDown on July 3rd, then we have a cut to Axiom timing a hot dog eating contest between R-Truth and Nathan Frazier, in which Truth wins and celebrates, saying that USA has beaten England, and Damien is off screen breaking character. And right after, then things start to, well, you would think, take control as the War Raiders enter, but then Ivar steals a hot dog, and Truth says to Damian Priest, "He just bit your wiener."
Because of course he did.
Yeah,
because of course he did.
Because this is, I don't know. I swear, just over time, there's just something that R-Truth does to get funny. I don't know what it is. Anyways,
I'm not even know that's PG.
Yeah, right, exactly. So R-Truth, when confronting the War Raiders about their AAA tag team titles, says that he wants a title versus title match, but the match is a hot dog eating contest. And then that's when Priest finally jumps in and says, no. And they agree to a title on title match in a future SmackDown episode. They don't say a next week thing like they usually would. It's just a future SmackDown episode. Because he says, like, we should do it, but it has to be on SmackDown. So we'll have to see what goes from there. And then Truth starts talking you know what, to Ivar. And saying, he says to Ivar that he's going to lose the titles and his mask. Ivar is not a masked wrestler, but because he's competing
Ivar used to wear face paint.
Well, you get what Truth is trying to say. Like,
yes.
So
he thinks he's Axiom.
Yeah. Afterwards, we go to Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso, the number one contenders match for the world title, and Cody would win off of a spiked crossroads that Uso was selling really well. He took one earlier in the match as well that he just spiked directly on his head. And then afterwards, we would go to Monday Night Raw.
So this was a packed episode of Monday Night Raw from Chicago. Sammy and Cody are backstage. Cody and Sammy start having a war of words where Gunther attacks Cody and slams his head into a car door like he's Kingpin.
And just
brutalize Cody.
Yeah, like that's... Think about that. Have you ever, like, slammed your finger on a car door or something? Like, your head?
Multiple times.
Ow. Yeah, that was an interesting spot. And if you are caught up in the wrestling world, you would already know that Cody is already reinstated in wrestling, so that's even more crazy.
We go to a Seth Rollins promo that is interesting, but runs probably 15 minutes too long.
Jeez. Yeah.
LA Knight enters to a massive pop, probably because everybody was getting bored, which LA Knight does mention. Seth said that if he wins at SummerSlam, LA Knight could have the first shot at the title. As Seth Rollins leaves, Jimmy Uso super kicks LA Knight.
Just out of nowhere, after the 20-minute run-on promo, Jimmy Uso just slides into the ring and kicks Knight from behind in the face. Just like kind of what's the opposite of a cherry on top? Like a slap in the face. Because this was, it should have been a good promo. And then just some unrelated thing happens afterwards, after a sloppy, long mess of filler. So I don't know exactly what went on during that segment, but it just wasn't the best.
Then we go to the Vision versus the Street Profits for the World Tag Team titles. Logan Paul introduces some brass knuckles into the match. Angelo Dawkins intercepts, gets ready to use them on Austin Theory. Maxine Dupree shows up. Low blow to Angelo Dawkins. Vision win the titles 1, 2, 3, and Dupree and Austin Theory then kiss.
Yeah, that happened too, which we didn't really need to see. But that being said, a huge moment for Dupree and Theory, really, in their careers right now. But definitely, part of me wants to say especially Dupree, but she also, she had shots at the
this is
the Intercontinental
very
title.
big for Theory. It actually gives him a story.
That's what I mean.
They gave him the whole Vast Man story thing. That was cool for a bit, but realistically, since December, Austin Theory's been just eating pins and being the lackey for the Vision, which I love. I think Austin Theory's great. I think he should be getting actual shots at stuff.
Totally.
So he's but in that team, obviously he and Logan Paul are going to be the tag team. I mean, when Bronson Reed gets back, I'd love to see it be Bronson Reed and Logan Paul, who are the guys going after tag team titles, as opposed to Logan in Theory. So I'd love to see if Theory I'd love to see Theory get a world title shot, like when Bronson Reed gets back. Maybe bring Breaker in, give him a IC title or US title run.
It of course depends on timing of everything, because to say that Theory is going to be just directly thrown into a title shot all of a sudden, it's not realistically going to happen. But if they do a tournament or something, it would be whatever, someone gets injured or whatever. That could be a surprise dark horse run that we could see happen.
Right after this, as the Vision leave, Otis and Tozawa are seen. They are very, very sad.
Yeah, heartbreaking moment. The car goes away with the rest of the Vision, and then Otis and Tozawa, of course, from Alpha Academy appear, and just depression. Sami Zayn is interviewed. It is announced that Cody is no longer able to fight tonight, but there's still a match tonight, but it will be against a mystery opponent. Sami Zayn goes out for his entrance, and who else could it be in Chicago than CM Punk? CM Punk enters from outside of the building. Crowd is super loud for him this entire match, but specifically the late of the match. Sami hits a GTS. Punk hits a haluva kick. They were going back and forth. Punk wins on a haluva kick, and then a GTS. We have a new world champion. And when you talk about the crowd, they got so loud late in the match because of how good of a match they put on. I mean, this was PLE level. This is the type of match, considering it was on Raw, I would have expected this on the first episode of Raw on Netflix. This was a huge match with a bunch of great spots at the end of it. You kind of gloss over it a little bit. He won on a haluva kick and a GTS. Punk won on a haluva kick. They were trading each other's moves. Sami hit the GTS as well. So just very interesting just storytelling and making use of the only tiny amount of lore that these two wrestlers have together.
Then we go to NXT.
And
Or would you like to go for this one?
well, I just, so there's a little thing about this episode of NXT that's a little bit interesting, and I gotta find the image for photo evidence. But this was the July 7th episode of NXT, but for whatever reason on Xfinity, it says if it focuses, the July 28th episode. So
Seeing into the future now.
yeah,
That's why you should subscribe.
I guess we're seeing into the future after being gone for 3 weeks on the podcast.
I see that Tank Ledger does not win this match. Keanu Carver goes against Tank Walker. I'm sorry, it's Tank Ledger.
Walker. Make it out.
Tank Ledger.
Yeah,
My bad.
Tank Ledger. Just say
What?
Tank. No one refers to their last
Tank.
name.
Keanu Carver beats the snot out of him, wins in a physical battle. We get a Nikki Blackheart vignette. She is now going by Reina Volcon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that name.
I don't mind it either. I think Nikki Blackheart is better, but that being said, I don't mind this thing. And they mentioned in the next week episode, I don't think I have it in the condensed notes because, timing, but she apparently is the first Dominican-born WWE superstar, which is crazy to me because I could have sworn there would have been someone. But I think that's also why they're putting emphasis into the sort of, Dominican name with, Reina Volcan. It makes more sense character-wise that they would put more emphasis on that. So I'm just excited to see how it goes, and hopefully they don't mess it up.
Then we go to Shiloh Hill versus Nico Vance. Nico Vance wins after Tristan Angels distracts Shiloh Hill. Shiloh Hill then chases Tristan Angels, and then Nico Vance is attacked with a chair by Sean Spears, who was turned on by them the other week.
Chairman, baby. Chairman is back.
Chairman is back. Then we have Natty versus Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray wins and is stared down by half the locker room.
Yeah, everyone wants a title shot. Everyone on the women's side wants a title shot. And that is not an exaggeration. If you watch the show, you watch the show, and you know that no one is safe right now.
Yes.
Specifically Kendall Gray, now that I think about it. She's the one who's in the most danger because everyone's coming after her. Now we go to Beach Break.
Yes. We go to Beach Break. Jericho versus Ciampa starts it. Chris Jericho takes a fairy tale ending bump on the steps, and it was nasty.
Oh my
in that match.
Goodness, it was. And he also was surprisingly, at least from what I saw, the only person to bleed on this entire show. And it was from a gig done after that bump. But yeah, he looked, head down on the steel and everything. 57 bajillion-year-old Jericho taking that. No.
Then Ciampa wins this match after throwing sand in the eyes of Jericho while he is in the walls. Ciampa attacks Chris with a chair and then threatens to murder him with a drill, which he is escorted to the back by security, and he takes his anger out on a floaty. They're at the beach, so they have a bunch of cool stuff. This was a great setup, by the way.
That was just, we talked about like the blood in the match with Swerve Strickland and Ospreay. This was just way too far for AEW. I didn't need to see the Swan floaty get ripped in half. That was just, that was very emotional moment seeing him take the drill around the floaty and spin it around. It was, Gore, my comfort character. Didn't need to see all that. And then we move on to Fletcher and Takeshita.
Yes. Fletcher takes a lot of punishment on the apron, but ends up winning after coming back and hits a brutal top rope brainbuster.
Yeah, there was some ugly stuff in this match, and I wasn't going to talk about all of it because of, everything. Time. But it was it was a very hard-hitting match. And afterwards, and this was announced earlier, but Mick Foley comes out and he is going to interview, I believe it was Fletcher originally,
Yes.
and then things got out of hand. He starts off by saying he likes his shoes and wants to shove them up Don Callis' ass. So that's definitely a very quick start to everything. So right after, Kevin Knight then enters, and he wants his world title shot that he's been asking for forever. And then Andrade enters, and then he wants any belt from the Don Callis family as revenge for his time there. So afterwards, I know this is crazy, the segment wasn't any more organized, trust me. The Don Callis family then comes out of the ring, starts chasing Andrade backstage, in which Darby Allin appears to help Andrade. He has a skateboard that explodes when given to the Don Callis family. So we're wondering, oh, well, what could have done that? And then they start pointing at Andrade, who is off screen, saying, you must have set it off, didn't you? And he says, of course, how you know? With a giant red button in his hand that obviously is what detonated the thing. The brawl then just continues until it fades to black into the next segment.
Yes, which is a segment of this which I was very excited to talk about. It was the Women's Casino Gauntlet match for a shot at Redemption. AEW Redemption for the world title. Where Tekla is on commentary, but Tekla is not sober. Tekla is drunk as hell in this match. So she says many things. She says, more specifically, talks about, since she goes, the last time I was at casino, I had 3 or 4 margaritas, ended up with a stripper on my lap. An actual quote. That's not a joke, that's a quote.
Yeah, these are all quotes. These are all
also says wrestling Mina Shirakawa is like wrestling a blow-up doll. And so she's just saying all this just insane things on commentary. But on some not funny stuff, Willow Nightingale returns, which we thought she was going to be out until past All In, so it's good for her to be back.
It is good for her to be back. And not only that, but also we did get some rumors from the, teases from the conglomeration earlier in the week as well, so that kind of made people speculate that it might be earlier than expected. But it's great to see her back and healthy.
Yeah, no, it was great. She wins the gauntlet, and then Tekla attacks her. Tekla is then attacked by Mercedes, who is up in a lifeguard chair on the on the entrance ramp watching the match. She attacks Mercedes. Then Divine Dominion attacks Sky Blue and Julia Hart, who are now seemingly aligned with Mercedes Moné.
I mean, once again, just a bit of just unorganization with these attacks and everything, where it's like, who's doing what, what's going on. But that being said, this does also elevate the story and eventually will end up setting a 3-on-3 match that we will talk about later.
Then we go to TNA. We have the Hardys versus the Great Hands.
Omega versus MJF. You're missing like the most important thing.
My God.
You're missing the most important thing.
I missed it. My bad.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega is the AEW World Champion again.
Yes. In a banger of a match with many great spots, but just great to see this, and they both put on a show.
Yes, fantastic match. MJF says he is not from Florida. He has to make sure that you hear that.
Mm-hmm. He says some other things that might get us, I'd say demonetized, but we don't make money anyway. So,
yeah, we don't make money yet. We don't have the subscribers for that.
Yeah.
We do have the watch. We are getting close to the watch time, but if you subscribe, maybe we can get there faster. But, there was a lot of great spots in this. Ospreay comes in to help Omega win.
Yeah, Ospreay had a
match.
pivotal moment in this, taking the ring out of MJF's hand, which he was going to use, and then Omega didn't capitalize when he could have used the belt because he's a good guy. And then that went back in his face, but thankfully for Omega, he would end up winning the match and huge pop and everything, and it was great and kumbaya and all that stuff.
And the thing you need to remember for this match is remember that MJF no longer has his Dynamite Diamond ring. Just remember that.
Yeah, that is another good point because Ospreay took it and has not given it back. So MJF has been without it. He hasn't appeared since, but he has been without it. And so it is interesting to see how that will play out once he returns. Then we go to TNA, the July 9th episode, and we have the Hardys versus the Great Hands, also sort of known as Order 4. They're the tag team in Order 4. And the Hardys take a pretty quick win off of a Jeff Hardy Swanton bomb, and Mustafa Ali starts calling someone on the ramp. And we
do not learn who this is this week. We don't learn who it is.
Yes, we do.
Not. I'm saying the week of. This,
yeah. The 2 weeks ago when this happened. You're totally right about that.
We don't know who this is yet.
In this episode of TNA, we do not learn that. Then we go to the King's Speech, the Frankie Kazarian show, in which Moose is the guest and enters. He talks about his loyalty to TNA after a huge emotional match that he had at Slammiversary. He takes some shots at Frankie and wants to have a dream match against Frankie Kazarian in which he says no, and AJ Francis enters.
Is that a dream match?
I mean, it's two very big names in TNA history at this point.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that like anyone saying, oh, you know what my dream match is for TNA? Moose and Frankie Kazarian. I think they're both great, but I'm not saying that's a dream match.
Maybe. It could be more of a dream match for Moose when you think about it.
Yes. If it's for Moose, then that makes sense.
When when Francis comes into the ring with his sidekick Expressions is staring down Moose the whole time AJ is talking, and Moose breaks character, which is very interesting for him because he's usually pretty good at staying stone-faced bad guy, all this stuff. But afterwards, Moose and AJ is announced for the next week episode of TNA, and we go on to the injury report in which Ali is out with a neck injury.
But Nick Nemeth is in the best shape of his life, and he wants you to know that.
Exactly. Nick Nemeth, that's much more important news. He's in the best shape of his entire life, and we're so happy for him. Then we go backstage after a not really important match, but it involved Ricky Sosa for context. And Santino Marella.
It was an important match. What do you mean?
Huh?
It was an important match. It was Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater versus the System.
Oh, you know what? You do have a good point.
Versus the Righteous.
I didn't want to talk.
It was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was a good match. I didn't want to talk about it too much because of the time constraints. But that being said, that was Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater's first match as a team. And they would end up pulling out a win. And yeah, they did have a great match. That's the other thing, is it was a great match. It's just, storyline wise, I'm trying to pick the most important things, and so I wasn't sure what to do. Well, I can't really say I'm picking the most important things when I talk about this, but we go backstage to Santino Marella, and he's doing the Ricky Sosa dance while doing the Batista hands.
He's doing Batista.
The laser thing. Yeah, exactly. Then we get into important stuff in this segment where Daria and Ryan enter from stage right, and Daria says, "Hey, Ryan Nemeth, you can address Casey Navarro in his promo." This is not a good idea based on what we learned recently about the heel turn and all this stuff. This is horrible. And we would figure out about that later. Mustafa Ali then afterwards, this is in an unrelated segment, says over the phone again that he is going to set up a State of the Order address for Order 4 next week. And this is going to clear up a ton of the problems they are having with their faction. Then we go to the Casey Navarro promo, and Nick Nemeth enters basically immediately and tells Casey Navarro that he doesn't have it. The it factor, not there. Casey then says, well, I guess Ryan Nemeth doesn't have it either since he lost to me. And then that was enough. And Ryan came in and attacked him. And that was basically it until Nick Nemeth just said, leave me alone, drop my number, don't call me, don't text me, and get out of my life. And so that's a rough segment for Casey Navarro, and we'll have to see where it leads up next. And finally, we get to the main event, which is Lei Ying Lee versus Zaya Brookside in a no DQ match for the Knockouts title. Zaya starts out whipping Lee with a belt. And, I mean, there were a lot of brutalization happening in this match. Lee with the table chants, which I hate so much. The We Want table chants were happening. Lee was pulling out a bunch of, I almost said ingredients, a bunch of weapons, and then eventually pulls out a table which she doesn't use. She only pulled it out for a cheap pop from the crowd because she's the baby face.
It was literally just there for the pop.
Yes, like just we want tables. Yeah, whoopee, and it just sat there the whole time. Nothing happened.
Well, it was kicked over.
Whatever.
Zaya Brookside kicks it
over. You get the point. Get the point.
For another cheap pop. For a cheap boo.
Yeah, exactly. Afterwards, Lee would end up missing a top rope move, taking a nasty bump on a chair, and then Zaya Brookside would defend a punch with a chair and then hit her finisher, Dark Side, to win the match and retain her title. And that moves us on to SmackDown after a pretty eventful TNA show.
Yes, this entire week for wrestling was very eventful.
Yeah.
We had a lot to talk about last week.
Well, besides that other SmackDown show that was just eating hot dogs, but
yes,
whatever.
But this was a very eventful SmackDown.
Yes, very important.
So Nick Aldis kicks us off. He is reinstated as the general manager of SmackDown. CM Punk enters. There's a CM Unk sign in the crowd.
Yes,
Punk says he'll defend his belt. Yeah.
Just giant sign in the back with bold letters saying CM Unk, and they panned to it like 4 separate occasions, and it was amazing.
Cody enters after Punk says he'll defend his belt at any time. And they say, well, we're going to fight each other at SummerSlam, and that gets announced. Then we cut to Truth, who is paying Fraxium after losing a World Cup bet, I could presume. The War Raiders come in. They want their title shot. Jimmy and Jacob enter. They're looking for Solo. Well, Uso's looking for Solo.
Yeah.
Truth says Solo is babysitting because the kids yeeted on themselves. Jacob...
I like how he specifies. He specifies after he says that it just happened now. As if he's he's like a reporter. Just so you know, kids yeeted on themselves.
It's just in.
They gotta go. And that was another thing that I thought was interesting about that, is I rewatched that segment. He said that it was Solo's kids, but he's babysitting. You could just say being a father. There's just so much wrong with everything that Truth says in this segment. But continue.
Then Jacob Fatu says he's looking for Voice Keys. R-Truth says he hasn't seen him. Damian Priest enters and says, yeah, we've seen him. He's here. The Bloodline heads to the ring. Truth is like, I don't want to die. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because when that happens, Truth's kind of, like, what's going on with Priest? And then Priest gets in his face and he's saying, it's none of our business. We need to stay out of it. And then Priest walks away and it kind of cuts to Truth where he's, like, kind of confused. And it's just making me wonder if this is going to be kind of an awesome Truth situation where it just doesn't last long after winning the titles and they're going to disband and then we're going to have this back and forth, or if this is going to bring the Ron Killing stuff back, or what's going to happen. But we'll have to see where this goes. But I have a feeling that it's not a coincidence that they're starting to have some tension.
Gunther wants his SummerSlam match fixed, and Sami Zayn is on an Ash by Elegance mental health break.
We still have not had an episode of Locked Up where someone is not on a mental health break.
Yes, correct. And Gunther says that he deserves to be in a ring with a champion. Well, the Bloodline gets in the ring. They want to talk to Solo, but they get Royce Keys instead. Royce says he explains that blood is just as good as loyalty.
Ignore the dark while I'm editing this. I just want to clarify, he didn't say that blood was as good as loyalty. He was saying that loyalty is more important than blood, because he was trying to explain that he was loyal to Jacob Fatu in comparison to the fact that the bloodline has had all of this mix up for so long.
Fatu does not want to fight Royce Keys and leaves Jimmy alone for an impromptu match with Royce Keys. Solo appears, and Fatu comes out to fight him. Jimmy somehow wins after Royce Keys is distracted. Then Jacob Fatu turns on Royce Keys.
Jacob Fatu turns on Royce Keys.
Yeah, I know. I turned into Porky Pig. All right, I get it.
I know what you mean though. And yeah, like we said about the whole feud thing, now it actually is a feud. So that lasted like 10 minutes or whatever. But yeah, Fatu turns on Royce, and it really is interesting to me that Jacob Fatu, after all of this, is still like sided with this bloodline stuff and not being as independent as he was when he first left MFT.
And then we go to Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill. Would you like to go about this? Because looking at your notes here, you seem to have a little bit of strong opinions about this.
Yeah, I am not happy with this, but I'll explain what happened first. So Jade Cargill would win the match, which is perfectly fine. They would have a post-match attack on Bliss and Charlotte, which is perfectly fine as well. I expect that from their group and whatever. But then Jade Cargill breaks Alexa's arm in the chair, like a chair stomp spot, just like the Matt Cardona one with Randy Orton, or like you could look back at just about any show, frankly. But chair stomp to the arm, breaks her arm, but she's double jointed in the elbow, and we know that because she's fake broke her arm to win matches before. So,
like twice.
Yeah. Anyone with even a decent amount of wrestling knowledge cannot believe this. And I mean, obviously, we all know that wrestling's staged in certain ways and whatever. But there's still, it would be different. Like, if they were breaking the fourth wall every 5 seconds, it would still be unenjoyable. You know what I mean? With this, it just feels like a slap in the face to the intelligence of the viewer. Because we know that Alexa is okay. Like, that there's no, like, oh, wait, maybe that hurt at least because whatever. We know she's fine. She's double jointed. Her arm bends this way. And they're acting, and that's another thing that makes this so stupid, is that if she was actually injured, they wouldn't keep replaying it. The next week, they show another replay of her breaking her arm. Why would you replay it if it's real? This is one of the most fake moments and storylines the entire year has held so far. And I don't like it. It's stupid.
And then we go to something else that wasn't stupid, but I still don't know what I think about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have now. You can take this one away because you don't like this as much as I do. So.
Yes. So Trick Williams cannot find his U.S. title. Lil Yachty enters this room that they're in. What the hell? Okay, but
You okay?
I just found something on the ground.
Oh, okay.
But they lost my train of thought. Trick Williams then is looking for his title, and Yachty's like, I got you this. And it is his own legacy title. But it has fur. Like the white fur like his entrance coat has. And I think it looks really stupid. Because it looks like a furry version of the U.S. women's title.
Yeah, and
It doesn't work.
I mean,
It doesn't work.
here's what I'm gonna say, and we talked about it last week, and unfortunately the file didn't work and whatever, but um, it it would work if it wasn't for the women's design, right? I think it looks good. I think it's a smart idea on paper, but when it literally looks just like the women's title, it doesn't make any sense. And I think that's also part of the reason. Well, they wouldn't have predicted this, but so many people were upset when the women's mid card titles came out because it was just the same things with the white on it as they always do, and we want to see new stuff to like really tell a difference. And so like if you're gonna buy what's it called, replica title off of the shop, you can just basically, instead of women's and men's, you're just deciding on, do you want a black belt or a white belt? You know what I mean? It's a very pointless design. And so then when it comes around to something like this, and you can't tell if it's the men's title or the women's title, I agree that that's a problem.
Yeah. No, I think it's a little bit of. I just think it looks too much like the women's title for it to be
Exactly.
like a thing.
Yeah.
But on to Trick's actual match. He has a match with Carmelo Hayes where Ricky Saints is watching. But the match ends very quickly because Baron Corbin makes his return and whoops everybody's ass.
Yeah. Just clears house, gets Mello and Willie out of the ring, and then holds up the title, the U.S. title, like, I'm gonna make my comeback, whatever the heck. But it's really good to see him back, and we would learn in the next episode of SmackDown that he seems very serious about being back. So I'm excited.
Yeah. No, me too. And then we get to Gunther, who is waiting in the ring for Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis announces that Sami Zayn will team up with Gunther against Cody and Punk at Saturday Night's main event. If they win, they are added to the match with Cody and Punk at SummerSlam. Gunther does not like that. Gunther then proceeds to put Nick Aldis in a sleeper hold and doesn't let go until he almost murders the guy.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes enters and tries to and scares Gunther away, but we don't get to see that because the show cuts out right as you hear Kingdom start.
Yeah, right as we hear the theme, the screen fades to black. So if you actually want to see the full segment, you have to go on YouTube and either find crowd footage or go to the WWE exclusive footage. But after the show ended, he would, like you said, scare Gunther out of the ring, and then security would go and help Nick Aldis. So then we go to the July 11th episode of AEW Collision, in which we start out really hot as Hangman Adam Page has returned, just for us to find out that he recently had a vasectomy, according to...
Okay. Nice.
According to...
Nice. Good one, Hangman.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing to see on the screen. For context, there's really not much context to help, but the thing that like shows his name and whatever, that was just like a fun fact they gave him. He starts out his promo by saying, "I'm a gardener," and talks about his love for plants. And I didn't write it all down because of time constraints, but he somehow connects this to the fact that he's never going to challenge for the AEW title again, and then he was inspired by Omega to still end up competing, but competing for the mid-card titles. So we'll have to see if he ends up winning one in future weeks. But then we go to Cameron and Shida. Hikaru Shida would dominate the match very early until Harley would start to turn it around with the submission move, in which Hikaru Shida is grabbing onto the ref's leg for dear life to get out of the submission, and the ref is like yanking himself away trying to get out of it. Thankfully for her, she would still end up winning the match by submission, but then she would attack Harley Cameron afterwards with some punches that did not have the right camera angle, because you could obviously see they were not connecting. Then Queen Aminata would scare Shida out of the ring. Queen Aminata would scare Hikaru Shida out of the ring.
There you go.
We're even now. So yeah, that continues that rivalry, and I don't know if they mentioned it at all in the show, but the next episode of Collision, they would have a match against each other, which we will talk about later. So then we go to a promo with the conglomeration in which Willow enters to a huge pop. Willow Nightingale's first promo back, and she cuts a very strong one on Tekla, and yeah, just setting up this rivalry even further, and I'm super excited about it. I don't know about you, but I am.
No, I'm really excited about this. I would love to see them make the match at All In a triple threat, which would be
Yeah.
like a great way to bring all of it together.
You mean like her, Tekla, and Mercedes Moné?
Mercedes.
Yes. Yeah, that would... Ooh,
I'd love to see that be the way they go.
that'd be
I don't
amazing.
think they put the title on Willow yet, but as much as I'd love them to, I don't know if they would.
What? I think it's interesting you mentioned that. I don't know why. I mean, like, it would be cool if it would be fine either way, in my opinion, especially because I don't know as much about AEW booking. But when it comes to Willow Nightingale, I don't think they necessarily wouldn't do it. I don't think it would be a bad decision if they gave her the title already, because, you know, it's a big moment in her career and you don't want to discredit her return and all this stuff. So I think it would be interesting to... I think we should just wait until it plays out and see what exactly happens, because I would not count her out of winning the title.
And it would kind of be two heels at All
Exactly.
In.
It would be a heel versus heel match, unless, of course, something happens with a storyline where characters do that. Or maybe they do the three-way at All In. Who knows?
Then we have the Death Riders,
Yeah.
Top Flight, AR Fox, and Commander.
It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Just weird matchup.
Just a bunch of people in a match against each other.
Yeah, exactly. John Moxley...
Death Riders versus the locker room.
Yeah. John Moxley sets up a power bomb in which he drops his opponent. I think it was Commander, but I don't remember it that vividly. So if you're watching Botchamania, that'll be on there. AR Fox would take a lot of punishment in this match, and then the pin, and then Moxley, breathing heavy into the mic, says, "This match was too easy." He's like dying. He's like,
This match is too easy.
yeah,
It's like when MJF had the respirator on and starts going, easy dub, but he'd be Osprey.
yeah, basically the same energy. I mean, the Death Riders were acting dominant, and in the match, if you saw it, it was a lot closer than you would have thought, except for maybe at the end they went on a tear. But afterwards, you know, celebratory push-ups for the Death Riders. And then we go to probably my favorite promo of the past month. The Bang Bang Gang cut a promo for a good cause in a dog shelter, saying to adopt these dogs because we are going to face the dogs from AEW, and they're going to need a bunch of help just like the dogs here. This is basically what they're saying. One of the quotes in this was, "Give these dogs a new life because we're going to end the other ones." This was just a hilarious...
That's a great line.
Hilarious. Yeah, it was a good line. But even then, they're not taking it too seriously. They're just, you know, having fun, and of course also promoting the shelter, talking about neutering the dogs and the human dogs, I should specify. And
Connors and David Finley, dogs, those ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's that they kept like specifying the names and all that. It was hilarious. You just got to see it for yourself. Then we go to Darby Allin and Trent Beretta, in which this starts out hot and not in a good way, because Darby Allin takes a bump off the top rope onto the apron, landing on his head.
Why does he do this to himself?
He didn't.
Every
That's
week.
the thing is, like, I could tell he didn't land the way he wanted to. It's not like he meant to land on his head. But, well,
This
actually,
week he takes a crazy bump too.
yeah, because I was
Brian Cage tries
about
to
to
kill him.
say, like, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Darby Allin may have meant to do that because he's Darby Allin.
Darby does it every week, and like, props to Darby. It's entertaining. I'm not gonna say it's not, but
How is he healthy?
how is he A, healthy? B, how has he not had like an injury break? Because the only long break he took from AEW was to climb freaking Mount Everest. And C,
Sounds so funny,
then-
but it's true.
how is he alive? Like, how are you not
Yeah.
dead after some of the things that you do to yourself? Darby, I'd like you to be able to talk when you're 40.
I'm sure he was, in pain, but I thought he was, like, seriously hurt because he was holding his head during, like, every move for the rest of the match. He was hurting at least. So I thought, maybe this is the moment where he fractures his skull or something, and then he has a match like 4 days later on Dynamite. It's like, I can't take it anymore. He kicks out of like every move in the entire world and then wins on a coffin drop, in which then Brian Cage would enter and attack Darby with power bombs, and then it would be it would be Mark Davis and Mike Bailey who enter the ring to break things up, and then they also have the main event to themselves as well, in which
Toe biting.
yeah, toe biting.
Toes. Toe biting.
Mark Davis bites Speedball's toes on, I believe it was during, like, while they were on the announce desk or something like that. I forgot to mention that Kyle Fletcher is on commentary and jumping up and down as Mike Speedball Bailey dies in front of his own eyes. That rhymed. Call me Tupac.
Oh my god.
There were many amazing spots in this match. It was an absolutely amazing match, and then the ref had to ruin everything. Actually, it probably wasn't the ref. It was probably a late kick, but there was a 2 count that looked very much like 3, and the crowd thought so too. But Mark Davis would take the win over Speedball, even though Mike Bailey had a very I can't say dominant because he lost, but like, how do I explain it? It's like he was wrapped in bubble wrap the whole time. He protected himself at all costs and kicked out of everything and put on an amazing show. And it was an amazing main event and good way to finish this. Let me get this out of the way. That was how long? An hour long.
Like an hour. All right.
Oh, goodness,
so now
I'm
we
lagging.
get into the actual meat and potatoes of this episode.
Yeah.
So
okay. So I just want to I want to clarify some things maybe for some new viewers. So what we usually would be doing is just covering the last week of wrestling and our favorite moments. Since we were gone for 2 weeks, that was 2 weeks of wrestling condensed. Now we're going to do a more in-depth talk about the actual last week.
So on to Monday Night Raw. This week's Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar is here. He opens it up. Brock Lesnar and Heyman have police officers that are blocking the entrance ramp as the crowd chants Oba over Brock Lesnar's music.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about how there's a lot of parallels between the beginning of Oba and Brock's careers, which I definitely do see.
With Brock's career, he only won world titles. And with Oba's career, if you remove NXT, his first opportunity in WWE was for the undisputed title with Cody Rhodes, and will likely be only facing for world titles in the future unless they pull an Omos and absolutely downgrade him, which hopefully that doesn't happen. But he really does look like the next big thing. There is absolutely no reason he would challenge for the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title. So, yeah, it really does seem like they're having exact same career at the start, and it's just great that he's doing it against Lesnar to start.
Yes. So Heyman says that Brock is obsessed with Brock. Well, I'm sorry, that Oba is obsessed with Brock to a stalker level degree. But Brock is also obsessed with Oba. Brock only thinks about Oba during hunting, training camp, and a bunch of other things. Cops are here to stop Brock and Oba from attacking each other. Heyman has a restraining order on on Obafemi, and Heyman also has a restraining order on Brock Lesnar. Which is, I don't really know how that works.
Do you think
Because
that
he's standing right next to him.
Yeah, I have a feeling, since you didn't, I have a feeling they probably meant that Brock has a restraining order on Oba as well.
Okay, because I was gonna say, does Heyman have a restraining? Why?
I was gonna say that doesn't make too much sense.
He also says that Brock Lesnar is a law-abiding citizen. I'm not gonna get into I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just gonna leave that be. But
yeah.
Oba interrupts. Police hightail it into the ring. The cops try to arrest Oba, fail miserably, get their asses kicked. Oba says, "You used to run this place. All you do is run away. If I would have went for the title, you would have just cost me anyway."
Bars.
Oh, yes.
Bars. Put
Bars.
that on the album. Put that on the mixtape.
Yeah.
On the Oba Beats by Oba.
Yes. Who?
Arr!
So they stare down with each other. Brock and Heyman run away.
I just want to mention, Obafemi's already broken this supposed restraining order in like 2 seconds.
We get a Shield vignette where Dean Ambrose was retconned for most of it. They announced that Jalen Brunson will be with Roman Reigns at Saturday night's main event.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wrote that down, and I think it's funny that they did set that up as the main event of Saturday night's main event. It's Jalen Brunson.
Yes. I love Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, me too.
I love that guy. But
just getting the Danhausen storyline, that's fine. You know, like bro.
Yes. But then we get Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez, where the Judgment Day get involved pretty much all the time in this. Io's knee is still a problem, but Io still rolls up to beat Roxanne. I'd love to see Roxanne Perez get a match with Sol Ruca very soon.
Yeah, I could definitely see that working. I don't know what else to add to that, but I zoned out for a moment. Did you mention the fact that Judgment Day started beating down on Io Sky?
I was just about to get to that.
Okay, I was gonna say
the Judgment Day jump Io, and Sol makes the save, but Raquel Rodriguez pretty quickly neutralizes that problem.
Yeah.
Oblivion to Io, and then we cut away to commercial. When we come back, we get a Royce Keys Bloodline vignette, and then we have the Vision, who are here. There is. I still really miss Bronson Reed. Paul Heyman is still not out there with them. Maxine tries to talk. They boo her like they would Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, and this was, I think, the most notes I have for a promo on anything.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is just because of how much impact this promo had.
Yeah.
Like, this was a very emotional, oh goodness, heart-wrenching, everything. You can explain it, but I need my moment of silence.
So Maxine tries to cut a promo, so does Theory. Neither of them can talk because the crowd won't let them. Here comes Alpha Academy, who try to talk with Maxine. The Vision gets out of the ring so Maxine can talk to him. Tozawa literally sounds like he's about to start bawling. As Maxine tries to apologize, heavy boos.
Yeah.
Heavy boos.
And not only just boos, but you sold out chants as well.
Otis says he needs to get something off his chest, which I believe he was trying to confess his feelings to Maxine, where Theory just starts laughing at him. Calls him fat, and And then Otis tries to beat the crap out of him.
But before we continue, not only does he call him fat, but he pulls the exact same line that Triple H used on Booker T. People like you.
Yeah.
In quotes.
People like you.
People like you. That is disgusting. That is horrendous in every way. And so just once again, just elevating just every like insecurity, every single thing that could affect someone in this promo. Like, you can't look at this segment and say that you don't feel for anyone or feel any sort of emotion in this. This is what promos and segments are for. It's for building character and building emotion and building storylines. And this is cinema. I mean, this is straight cinema. I don't know what else to say.
They end up getting the upper hand. Tozawa tries to dive and then gets just thrown into the next episode of Raw.
Yeah, I literally said Tozawa dies thrown by Braun.
Yes. Otis then holds his own against Theory and Breaker, but then Maxine steps between Otis and Theory as Otis is about to kill Theory. And as she tries to sucker him in, low blow. By Theory.
Afterwards, Tozawa finally gets in the ring, he didn't even. Did he get in the ring when he died?
Yes, he gets back in the ring and dies again.
Yeah, he dies again.
That's one of the most disgusting spears I've ever seen from Breaker.
Tozawa dies again. That's literally what it says on my notes.
He got speared hard.
Yeah,
like,
that was iShow's speed at the Rumble, like.
That was like Carlito level death.
Ugh.
Brass knuckles to Otis, spear to Otis.
Yeah.
And the segment ends.
Yeah, this was jam packed, and that's another thing about this that I think should be mentioned. If a beatdown is gonna happen, it needs to mean something, because we see so much faction beatdowns and stuff all the time where it's just punches thrown and then either someone comes out or then it's like one chair shot or whatever.
Like the last thing that just happened with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, exactly. This was like meaningful. You know, well, I feel like beatdowns lose their meaning when it's just punches and certain things and whatever. When you're using heel tactics like low blows and, you know, distractions and stuff, along with knuckles and spears and all you know, you're bringing in this like mismatched guy in Braun Breaker to kill Tozawa. Like, this was a perfect segment and a perfect example of what wrestling should be and what we are losing in wrestling nowadays.
And then we get to something that ends up being another faction beatdown at the end. Royce Keys and Jimmy Uso end up fighting another impromptu Royce Keys Jimmy Uso match. Jacob gets into the arena about partway through this match, comes to the ring, interferes, and Keys wins by DQ. He's about to back it up into the corner with the chair, but Solo is here, and who seemingly wants to rejoin the bloodline. So he puts up the one, he puts the finger down,
I don't know.
Puts the thumb out.
Yeah.
Spike.
The spike. That was a cool moment. I'm sorry though. I don't know if I would have said, and I quote, he goes to back it up in the chair in the corner.
Well, that's what they keep calling it. Back it up into the corner.
Well, yeah, I know, but like, I just said hip attack.
You're right. He tries to hip attack where he just runs and puts their butt in the person's face.
Saying someone's in a chair in the corner and he's throwing it back on him or whatever the heck you just said. I
didn't say throw it back. You said throw it back. I didn't say that.
No, that's all you.
That is all you.
But you mentioned Solo, like, trying to, or not trying to, but, like, luring the bloodline in as, like, they're rejoining and whatever. I think it's very weird to me that they did that. And the reason why is because with the bloodline, like, being sort of face now, they used it as a way like you're trying to gain like sympathy in a way for Solo, and it's like this good moment where he's turning face. But it's not face if they're beating up Royce Keys as we speak.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So why in the world does Solo raise his finger and everyone's cheering as the actual babyface is dying in the corner?
Are the Bloodline face? I don't think they are anymore.
Here's the thing. I don't think so
I think
either.
Roman's a face.
Well,
I think
yeah.
the rest of the Bloodline... Oh, he's gone. But I think Jimmy and Jacob are supposed to be heels. And, and Jay is a face, I guess. And Roman's a face. But I don't think Jacob and Jimmy are faces. I'm pretty sure they're heels.
I just mean the crowd is cheering, and so that's making it so that they're like faces. And then when either way, the whole point of the... Is he frozen?
No, you're Oh, now we're back, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, yeah.
Okay, you're back now.
I think my audio was still picking up through OBS and everything, so that should be fine. But
same here.
Yeah.
I had the same thing happen.
Yeah, right. That being said, what I was trying to say was, either way, this is a 2-year-long story now of Solo being heel with his own fake bloodline. Now he's rejoining the quote-unquote good guys. And you're going to make this reference now?
Are they good?
That's what I mean, is they're not. But then that's why it doesn't make sense. Because why would we feel for Solo here? And then, let alone, why is the crowd actually giving into this and cheering for when they're acknowledging Roman Reigns and killing Royce Keys?
Solo then beats up Jacob and Jimmy. Royce gets back into the fight, but then the Bloodline gets the upper hand again, and LA Knight comes out to save them.
Yeah!
Shares them back, does nothing to Jacob, but they end up being able to get Jacob and Jimmy out of the ring. And it looks like it will be Jacob and the Usos versus Keys, LA Knight, and Solo at SummerSlam.
Which is a very, very strange group in Keys, LA Knight, and Solo Sikoa. And Knight in this promo where he announces the match calls Jey Uso the unfortunate event. Jey Uso.
Yeah.
So,
what did you just break?
that was the what's it called? Was it surge protector or whatever the heck? Where all the cables go into? That just fell down. What do they call them? These things?
Oh, a power strip.
I knew that.
An extension cord.
Shut up. I'm not good with technology. Anyways, yeah, he says it's the unfortunate event Jey Uso, and then Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu versus them. And so, yeah, that was a hilarious promo and a great way to set up the SummerSlam match. That being said, I do think it's interesting the Usos and LA Knight, for both of the like really big events, have been in kind of random tag matches. So last time at WrestleMania, it was LA Knight and Speed. No, it was LA Knight and the Usos versus the Vision and Speed. You know what I mean? Like random. And then
let's just think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight and the Usos versus Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and I Show Speed.
Now, that being said, it was a good match. It was a good match. I don't care what anyone says. It was a good match. There were good moments. I Show Speed proved himself in the ring.
Suey.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. It's just, now we're going into SummerSlam, in which last year LA Knight won the U.S. title, right? And now...
No, not last year. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, I don't remember what happened.
He took it off Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened last year at SummerSlam then. But that being said, I guess my point is that this is
Last
showing.
year was the fake of the century when Rollins cashed in after feigning an injury and burying LA Knight in the process.
Yeah, anyway, LA Knight is once again, I don't want to say getting buried, but struggling to get his push. And the Usos, especially Jay, who they've pushed so many times, and they have him, like we mentioned with the King of the Ring stuff in our first episode, running in on Obafemi and like big time stuff. Then once an actual big event comes around, it's like he's nothing. It doesn't make too much sense. And then
we haven't seen Jay since he lost to Cody, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Jay appears on either show this week.
Since he's lost to Cody, no, I do not believe so. He was on a lot of the episodes before that, but whoa, my voice cracking shit. Anyway,
all good.
But let's finally continue in this Raw episode because we're dwelling a lot on Raw. That being said, we actually have
to stand for the rest of this episode. I think I'm gonna stand for the rest of this episode.
All right, dang.
See, I've got to stand. I've got my thing up here. So we go to
Welcome to Locked Up, everybody.
We get to Heyman, who is clapping for the Vision backstage. They're very proud of him. Logan Paul, he says Logan Paul is healing faster than Conor McGregor.
That was amazing. That was an amazing line because this was the day after Conor McGregor broke his
after he beat himself.
Yeah, exactly. Or I guess lost to himself when you think about it.
Yeah, he decided it was a good idea to jump up in the air and throw a flying kick 3 seconds into the fight, and then he tore his ACL and his meniscus. Heyman says that Maxine was so good tonight. What the hell do you need me for?
Yeah.
And then walks away.
Just walks
very cryptic.
Out, completely walks out on the faction.
Are you gonna go back to
That's why I noticed that you were smiling at the camera angle and I couldn't. Anyways, but yeah, he walks out on the faction, and I don't know. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie.
Technical difficulties, baby.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know what he's doing. He walks out on the faction, and I guess what I'm wondering.
Sorry, technical difficulties. We were stuck, so I just started.
Oh wait, there was actually like something going wrong. What was happening?
No, you were frozen, so I just started hitting a jig.
Okay, Paul Heyman leaves Vision possibly. We don't know what's going on. Yes. What I would think is that he's going to just go fully with Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar isn't a part of the Vision anymore, even though he kind of wasn't in the first place anyway, but he was like teaming with them. I don't know. But it's like Paul Heyman's like reminding me of a 5-year-old. You know, he's taking his toys and he's going home. That's what he did the other week where he like, you know, Maxine, lucky to have a guy like you, but you guys didn't do anything, so yeah. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they finally proved him wrong that they belong, and he's just not going to accept it. So, I don't know exactly what's going on. Who knows what Seth Rollins feels about it. Really quick vent. Why are we focusing on the Shield with Seth Rollins more than the Vision with Seth Rollins? I get that the feud's kind of over, but like Seth Rollins is over the Vision. He does not care, but he still cares about that's the fist from the Shield. That's the chair from the Shield. That's the Shield fist. Like, bro. Anyway.
Deadlock.
Yeah, shout out Deadlock. All right, Bayley cuts a promo.
Yes, Bayley does cut a promo.
She wants Lyra like out of what is? Oh, okay. Yeah, she wants Lyra to come out and get to the ring, and then Lyra comes out and is still emo, She's been
Looks
emo
like she hasn't slept since she turned heel.
for some time. Yeah, exactly. I forgot that we actually haven't talked about that. Yeah, she's emo. I don't know. We talked about it last week, and the file got the way it did. So yeah, who knows exactly what's going on there? Looking like Tatum Paxley. That is not an insult. But that being said, Lyra's insane all of a sudden, but she does cut a great promo on Bailey and talking about her being a fake victim and whatever, and she's the one who actually whatever. It was good. She calls Bailey the worst horsewoman out of the four, which is correct.
She might not be wrong. Let me guess. Did you freeze? Did you freeze with me doing this?
Yeah, I did.
You froze with me smiling like the cute boy I am. But then we go to a big.
So
We go to a
Bailey,
big cast
wait,
again.
hold on. Bailey versus Lyra is announced for Saturday night's main event, and Lyra wins a little fight that they have in the ring with a Bailey to belly that she hits on Bailey.
Yes.
There was a cryptic video after this with a date that said 8/3.
Did you not see the people that were the person that was in that vignette, like the t-shirts?
Stupid. And don't
It's
know
Big
who
Cass.
it was.
It's Big Cass.
Big Cat. Oh my! I know
Big
the
Bill.
name, but I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle because I'm a newer fan.
They should have him put on SmackDown because especially if he's with Enzo, because that SmackDown tag team division is bare bones as hell right now. It is literally just.
It
It's
shouldn't
literally
be.
just Los Garza. It shouldn't be, but it's Los Garza, the War Raiders, Fraxium, and R-Truth and R-Truth and Damian Priest, who realistically should not be the tag team champions. They should both be off doing their own thing.
Yeah, I will say I did see a lot of people upset about that. I'd still I think it's a good refresher and whatever. I do just still think people like MCMG deserved it more. Now they're gone.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
They should have been champions
Sorry
for a while.
to mention that. I mean, at least
Freaking love MCMG.
I do. At least they made the history of coming in and then just winning it immediately and all that. So that's a cool mark to have on the company. But that being said, then they fumbled them
They
afterwards.
could still use the "we won" titles everywhere we go.
Heck, you know what it could have been? It could have been DIY.
Could have been DIY.
They let
It
Ciampa
should-
walk, and there's
Now
Johnny.
Gargano was just doing this
Yeah.
all day. If I can. This is just Gargano the entire time, and for our audio listeners, love you to death. We're planking now. Yep, and we can see Henry's feet, which is just as funny.
I can hear you say that through the.
We go to the IC title gauntlet match.
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio and Joe Hendry start. JD gets involved. Dominic eliminates Joe. Javon Evans is next. JD has been really involved in all of these. 6-1. Well, there's a 619 by Dom. As he's about to go for the frog splash, Danhausen comes out. He's in the Danhausen G-Wagon.
Mm-hmm.
The G-Wagon Hausen. He curses Dom, and the wrong pyro goes off for the ring post. Because of course it does.
Yeah.
It's Danhausen. Danhausen mouths to the camera, "Ah, shit." As he's
Did that? Oh yeah, I do remember that.
yes, he
now.
mouths, "Ah, shit."
Yeah. That was funny.
And then so JD McDonough goes to yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass now. OG cutter to Dom,
Yeah.
and Javon eliminates him.
And that was a great moment. And after that, we set up Dragon Lee and Javon Evans, which
Such a banger. But
yeah,
it was a great
you're
match.
right though. No, it was a banger. Lee was sent into Timekeeper, and Javon comes around with a dive in which he goes straight into the crowd. He overshoots.
He jumps into the front row.
He overshoots Dragon Lee. Shoots into, I don't know, probably some like white 5-year-old or something in the front row or something. And like, just great moment. And with all of this, and afterwards, Evans would roll up Dragon Lee for the win in that segment of the match. But I think it's interesting with his facial expressions, with his body language. It feels like we're getting a much more serious, dare I say, heel side of Javon Evans.
I don't think he'll turn heel, but we're definitely getting a more serious side. We're still getting the entrance where he's going.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. There's so much opportunity. I don't know. I'm just thinking about everything. I think what it's going to end up coming down to is he's going to get like one sort of either a title shot or just big opportunity that doesn't go his way, and then he starts to snap from there, like they should have done with Jey Uso, but whatever. Going on further in this match,
Yes,
it's now
Rusev comes out next.
And he doesn't come out of the entrance. His music hits, and then he attacks Javon from behind, which I'm not going to lie, even though I understand it's heel tactics, someone like Rusev, who's supposed to be dominant, should not be needing to use a sneak attack on Javon Evans, who's like 100 and a saltine cracker pounds. Like, I don't. I'm just thinking.
No, I agree though.
I like he's my weight. Like, you know what I mean?
There was a really, really impressive spot from Javon here. So Javon gets put in the accolade and starts hulking up.
Yes.
And does the Michael Chandler spot.
Does do the Michael Chandler spot that we talked about.
Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it looks really good. Goes up for an OG cutter. Just gets clocked in the head by him. And then put in the accolade. And Javon Evans does not tap out. He goes out.
Yeah.
He goes sleepy.
That would... Sleepy. Okay. That was...
Sleepy.
That was great. I will say that was so good that it made up for a botch that we didn't talk about, which was Evan completely whiffed on a super kick. And I mean completely.
It was the exact same botch Jey Uso did a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it was the same one. And you notice how no one said anything about Javon, but people said things about Jey Uso and whatever. Anyway.
Yeet.
But that being said, we get Gable and Rusev afterwards, and this is the final stage.
His theme song is so bad. I'm sorry. I gotta rant about this. Chad Gable's new theme song sounds like a ZZ Top made AI music.
I forgot.
Dude, it's real bad.
I forgot that
It's
you didn't
so
get
horrible.
your rant on recording from last week.
So bad. It sounds like AI music. It sounds like if you made really crappy ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And it's really horrible. Like, I think I could make better music right now.
Peak.
And he's stuck again.
He froze.
Okay.
Ain't no way he froze.
What was I in the middle of saying?
You said that... I think you said something about the accolade?
Yes, I said that Rusev gets rolled up. Rusev is not very happy about this. Puts Gable in the accolade, and here comes All Ego.
Yep. Ethan Page. Oh, yes, that's right. So that wasn't the last part of the match. I forgot that Ethan Page is the last part of the match.
Yes.
And now it's Page versus Chad. And they're all...
Where he does a perk salt into the ankle lock. He does a Kurt Angle moonsault into the ankle lock during this.
I was going to say, perk salt is wild, bro.
Perk Angle. We can't keep that in either.
No, we're keeping it. I don't care.
Okay.
We're keeping perk salt. Gable puts on fight of the century in this because he's...
I love that... Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I love that All Ego has a brand new signature also in this match that he calls the Confidence Breaker, which is pretty much just Ricochet's recoil.
Yeah, right. And he looked great in this match, along with, this. I don't want to say 2-on-1 because, after some time, like, Rusev would go out. But, I mean, Rusev sets Gable on a metaphorical tee for Paige to just come in and win this match. And yet, Ethan would end up tapping out to Gable in what was an amazing gauntlet match, and then we will have Penta and Chad Gable at SummerSlam, and I don't think it is crazy to say that Gable has a shot to win it.
I was just about to ask you, do you think this is where they actually put the title on Gable?
Here's what I'll say. I don't think he's going to win it. But that being said, he's definitely going to make a name for himself in this match. This might even be, besides, of course, Mask versus Mask, this might be the most important match of his career as Chad Gable, strictly. Not El Grande Americano. This is...
I don't know, that match he had with Gunther for the IC title? When he was challenging Gunther for it,
I mean, that's
together.
fine, but, like, how much did that change his career?
Not... I mean, he was still with Alpha Academy at the time, so I guess it helped further his heel turn.
I guess. But
not much past that.
This match, I think, is going to be the most important for his non-Lucha Libre career, if you even want to call El Grande Americano that. But I'm excited for the match. That's what I'm going to say is basically no matter what, this is going to be a fire match unless they pull a Fiend Hell in a Cell and just make a terrible booking decision where no one wins or something like that. Like, you have to be really stupid to find any way to mess up this match.
This is also a rematch of Penta's first match in WWE.
Penta's
first match ever is Chad Gable.
I forgot, and that
it's coming full circle.
That of course ended up leading more to the Americano
Grande
stuff.
Gimmick.
Yeah, because he couldn't beat luchadors. That might be another case you have for Gable maybe winning this. Is that he's getting redemption. Dude, yeah, this is actually going to be a very interesting match. You know what isn't interesting? Contract signings in the main event of WWE shows. And we get that again today.
I'm just going to say this because most of the things they said weren't really important. They have both promos. Seth jumps Roman, stomps, and stomps him.
Yeah.
And that is Monday Night Raw. So then we go to NXT where Lillian Garcia is the announcer for some reason.
But that being said, this is a huge... I don't want to say it's a huge moment, like it's like the grandest thing ever. But like Lillian walked like, a little bit under a year ago or so now? All of a sudden, and then now she's just kind of back all of a sudden again, got another Triple H pointing photo and all that stuff. But she did what was it?
That's Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, she did Saturday Night's Main Event as well. So she's obviously in it for the long run again, I guess. And so I guess good for her, but I guess it's just a situation of are you gone or are you not? Because she was gone before, and then she came back, and then she left, and then came back, and then I don't know exactly what is going on at this point. We're getting an Andrade-like situation where we're just playing for every team, but we'll have to see exactly.
TNA next.
Yeah, right. That would be interesting, actually. Anyways,
but, we start with a tag team title match. The Vanity Project versus DVD and Shawn Legacy.
And I just need to mention... let me see if you're going to mention the same thing I'm going to mention.
Shawn Legacy has a spot where he flies in the air like a maniac. Dorian Van Doo sends this kid into the air. He's, easily 8 feet in the air. Probably 10.
this match was high energy and absurd.
Yes.
And
just insane.
And you know what I gotta say? One of the things that we've talked about with NXT matches, it feels like every time we talk about a great match, the Vanity Project is in it, whether you like it or not. Whether I know how much you don't like them, but we were talking earlier. No,
I don't
about
mind
Mason
them. They're great. They're great wrestlers.
Oh,
they just really piss me off, which is what their which is what their gimmick is.
Yeah, I know.
They just really piss me off because they're just frat guys. Like I've met people who are like the Vanity Project, and they make me really, really pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a gimmick that hits home for especially a guy that's just graduated high school. I know people like that. They suck. They really suck.
Shout out Mason.
But that's my brother's not like that.
Okay, just kidding.
He is not.
Just kidding. The thing that I wanted to mention was Vandu's theme, at least at the beginning, sounds just like the Shark Tank theme. It sounds just like the Shark Tank theme. When they walk in and they're about to pitch a product or whatever, this is Martin with super glue or whatever. It sounds the exact same. You could like overlay them. I could put this in a short where I just overlaid it too, and it's probably the exact same. It's amazing.
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
You get that now, right? Because that's literally
when
because I think the last time I saw a match with them in it, I didn't like pay attention. Well, to the entrances, I should say. I'm paying attention to the matches. I'm not that evil. But that being said, I was just listening and my head turned. I was like, did I change the channel? Oh, no. It's just sounds like Shark Tank is playing on my TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just funny. At the end of this amazing match, Lockwood would end up playing the role in a huge heel win for the Vanity Project, and they would retain their championships.
Yes, she screws out DVD.
Yep.
Probably the move. It was the right move.
Oh yeah, I think it was, but just Vanity Project is the most. I guess with heels, it feels a little bit like I'm an eel and sorry. I've reached flow state for a moment. Anyways, with heels,
we got 4 more shows to get through.
I know.
We're already an hour and a half into this podcast. We got to start going quicker.
But with heels, it feels like certain endings are repetitive. I feel like with the Vanity Project, it actually fits their character right. Because they're not going to win a normal way. Certain heels will win out of desperation with a low blow or something. The Vanity Project will not win without cheating.
No.
That is that like
it's like MJF. Like MJF's not going to win without cheating.
I was going to say Eddie Guerrero, but I don't want to give them that praise.
No. MJF is one where it's like he's normally not going to win without cheating.
Yeah.
He does it every time. Versus Gunther, who is going to win without cheating because he's freaking Gunther and he'll choke you out until you die. But then we go to Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights, who are watching this backstage. Tavion Heights would like a tag title match with Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne's thinking about it. Cam Hendricks interrupts and just does Cam Hendricks things, who is still doing the Randy Orton RNN gimmick.
82.6% health this time.
Yes.
And we didn't get to talk about this in the first episode, or in any episodes, because I thought we would, and then the recording, as we've mentioned a lot of times. But we were joking a lot about this health bar gimmick or whatever the heck he's doing right now.
The Randy Orton gimmick.
And so it's just funny to see, and now I'm writing it every time, and we'll see what happens from here on out.
Tavion Heights, Saquon Sugars wants help from OTM because he has a tag team match next week, a 6-man tag match against Dark State, and he doesn't have any partners at the moment. OTM say no. Then OTM and Birthright have a war of words. We then cut to a Tristan Angels promo who says that Shiloh Hill has a family of raccoons and teethless people, and Tristan Angels is God's apology for that. So Angels has his tooth and says he's going to do him a favor, and he crushes Shiloh Hill's tooth.
Yeah, his one false tooth in his upper, either right or left, I don't remember exactly, but breaks them on the steel steps, and then Shiloh Hill starts laughing maniacally and saying, "The fog is coming."
The fog is coming. The fog is wait, hold up. Wait a minute.
The fog is
I'm
coming.
going to make this even better. Hold up. The fog is coming.
The fog is coming.
The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
The fog is
The
coming.
fog is coming.
Anyways.
The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
Why are you red, bro? What?
Dude, I got a light. Hold up. Sidebar to the podcast. We could keep this in. Dude, my light turns different colors. Hold up. I got red, green, blue, yellow, purple,
I do have
Blue,
one like
blue,
that. It's another
red, rainbow,
one. Rainbow just looks like a light blue.
rainbow.
That is not rainbow. That is blue. Okay, I can
Yes,
see
it is.
I can see it like
This is rainbow.
turning.
We have another rainbow one.
It's a rainbow. That's my favorite.
Candy cane.
Candy
I don't know
cane.
what this one's supposed to be. Well, it's supposed to look like a candy. This one alternates colors. Oh, this one's just the one that stays the one. But yeah, that's a bunch of I have a bunch of colors.
Anyways, we have some GM problems now all of a sudden because we have Lizzie Rain, we have Izzy Dame, and all of Natty in the dungeon, whatever. So Robert Stone.
Whatever they're called, they still don't have a name yet.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but Robert Stone announces that Zarya, Izzy, Rain, and Nikita Lyons are going to fight for the North American title. And I believe, is that... Oh, no, okay,
That
so
happens in about 20 minutes.
Oh, no, it is... Yeah, it is in this episode. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yes.
Then
we go to Tate Wilder and Naraku. Naraku pretty much just beats the crap out of him. Tate Wilder hits a sling blade backbreaker in this match. And Julia Garcia keeps calling him Naraku.
So here's the thing that interests me in all of that. Because Mike Rome was doing the same exact thing. And so I'm wondering if he tells the ring announcer something else.
Like, just call him Naraku. Like,
well, yeah, but like if you go back and trust me, if you go back and watch the Mike Rome announcements, he says "nada ku" as well. So I don't know exactly what that is, but I don't know. So anyways, yeah, they have
you could just
the
bring back his old name and just call him Evil.
Yeah. Maybe they won't do that for copyright reasons because of like New Year's Evil or something. I don't know exactly what's going on. But after the match, yeah, Tony D'Angelo comes in to attack, and then Naraku hits the mist to the security who are in the ring.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of fight, and that's like it.
Yes. Then we cut backstage to EK Prosper and Hank and Tank, who are firing each other up against Keanu. Saquon wants their help. They say no.
Saquon is denied twice today so far on getting people on his side.
Then we go to the women's North American title match. Which was, Booker T is again tweaking on commentary for Lizzie Rain.
Yep.
Again, going heavy metal.
Yeah. You just glitched across the screen when you did that. You were here and then you just teleported with your hand down like it was just a stop motion thing or something. That was amazing.
Nice. Then I say number one, Nikita Lyons has improved drastically since she first started.
I think that's fair too, although I also haven't seen too much of her older wrestling as well.
It was not great. It was not great.
Okay. Well,
but she's much better now.
I was going to say because this match felt amazing and it felt very real because they were fighting desperately. They were trying to get this win. They were doing everything they could The three of them were doing everything they could, and then Zarya was doing what she could to defend. So
Yes.
just everything about this match was great. And then
Carmen and Natty interfere.
yeah, exactly. We'll call him the dungeon, I guess. They interfere, and then Jada Parker comes out to attack the dungeon. And then, out of seemingly nowhere, Zarya pins Nikita Lyons, and that was the end of that. Which I think is interesting because they were left alone in the ring because Izzy Dame and Lizzie Rain just started fighting out of the ring and just kind of disappeared.
I'm assuming that's going to be the way they go for a feud, right? It's going to be Lizzie versus Izzy, right?
I guess we're doing the Lizzie versus Izzy. I still hope that we get Hale and Rain more.
But she's in TNA, but I don't think she's going to be winning next week.
Yeah.
She faces Indy Hartwell. I don't see that going very well for her. But
then we
then
go
cut
back
to Saquon.
Yeah, back to
Saquon
Saquon
to the
Sugars.
Ren QCC.
Yep.
And Lola interrupts, and Saquon's like, "Yo, man, we're talking." Doesn't even look at him. Lola Vice just goes, "Shut up!" Like she's looking this way. They're talking, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, "Hey, I want a match here." It's like,
"I want the title."
And then Saquon's like, "Whoa, we talking." Shut up.
Yeah, and Lola continues to talk about her wanting the title and all that, and then just like all of the. I think it's funny that he's gotten so desperate that now he's going to the women's area, and they're still getting shut down by everyone, and so now he has to find anyone. Might as well call Jelly Roll at this point. Like, what's gonna happen? Who knows?
Pat McAfee, I need a favor.
I just pulled out my headphones. What did you say?
Pat McAfee.
Oh, no.
But we then get to
Jackson Drake.
We get to Jackson Drake versus Tavion Heights. There was a really nice back suplex by Tavion Heights in this match. There was a handspring cutter by Jackson Drake. But really, it was just... And Jackson Drake rolls up Tavion Heights to win the match. And Tavion Heights was not too happy about that.
Yeah, that's about all that you get from that in general. Frankly, it was
a nice little match, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
Yeah, and I think the segment before, because we actually kind of glossed over it, and I forgot about it until just now looking down, but Tony D'Angelo was arguing with Robert Stone about Naraku and how he wants to get his hands on him. And that's very important for the rest of this episode that we will see later.
Yes. We then go to another Reina Volcan vignette. And then we have Saquon Sugars, who asks Romeo Moreno and Noam Dar to help. Saquon being hilarious. And this time, they actually say yes.
They do. It did take a lot of convincing of Noam Dar, though. Because I think Romeo said, like, this might be the only chance we get to do whatever again. We need to take advantage of it. And then finally convinced him. But it still just shows me that there's still this bad feeling that everyone has about Sugars because of the Dark State stuff. So we'll have to see if they can, coexist. I know that's used a lot, but we'll have to see what happens, and I'm excited for them to team.
Yes. Then we get Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray are talking about the number one contenders match. Kaylee Armstrong interrupts, and she and Kendall go at it. Kendall says, "The only thing I think about is dropping you on your head or tapping you out." Great line.
Yeah.
Then Kaylee Armstrong talks to Jada Parker on her way to the ring. Natty and crew jump Jada. Then we have a bunch of stuff that's announced for next week. Tony D and Naraku. Dark State versus Moreno, Dar, and Sugars. Reina Volcan makes her debut against Skylar Gray. And then Natty versus Jada Parker. And then later, not in the show, but announced on Twitter, Sean Spears will go against Nico Vance next week.
Mm-hmm. And he also did cut, it was funny because we talked about this off camera.
He cut a promo at Full Sail.
He cut a promo at Full Sail University, the old set of NXT, and just funny. I don't know, just funny set place of choice and everything, especially because he didn't really tie it back into anything. But that promo was on the culling, so even though I don't think he necessarily said anything directly, that was kind of the idea, was it setting up this match against Vance. So
Then we go to the number one contenders match. Kalani Jordan is 0-8 in number one contenders matches for the NXT Women's Championship.
I'm sorry,
like loser Lani.
Is that true? Did they say that?
Yes, they did. They did straight up say that. So not a great way to make Kalani Jordan look like a standout, for lack of better words.
Booker's
there was a nice crossbody by
lost everything over Lola Vice, by the way, because
Booker is again geeking for for Lola's hip attacks, doing a ging every time.
One more time, baby! One more time. He's seen it like 15 times.
One more time, a ging.
It's like the 7th to 8th time that she's done it in the match.
Yeah.
Oh, do it one more time, baby! One more time.
Lola Vice defeats Kalani Jordan and Kelly Armstrong by a kick, and then Lola Vice does Lola Vice things.
Why? Did I miss
after
something?
Winning. She was being freaky at the very end.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. But
yeah, she was being freaky at the end.
Oh, well,
as per usual.
The key takeaway here is that Kalani Jordan is 0-9 now, I guess.
Loser Lani.
This is crazy.
Loser Lani, dude.
Imagine she gets to 0-10.
Dude, she might be the Cleveland Browns.
0-10 in number one.
The Cleveland Browns of the
match.
NXT Women's Division.
Wow. After this, we cut to the NXT parking lot.
Oh, God.
And so, my note is NXT parking lot brawl because, of course, lol. So Tony, D'Angelo, and Naraku are fighting in a bush outside of the parking lot, like right next to a bush. I think Tony gets shoved in or something like that. And then finally, I think it was Robert Stone came in and said, like, fine, we'll just do a street fight next week between you two so you can shut up, basically. And that was that. NXT parking lot takes like 7 more other victims again, as always, and then we're done.
All right, we have Dynamite, TNA, SmackDown, and Saturday Night's main
Dynamite,
event.
TNA, SmackDown, and Saturday Night's main event. And starting with Dynamite, we start off with the Death Riders and Will Ospreay. Still, I get like PTSD every time I say his name because of the bathtub. Yeah, doing a weird punching drill. I don't know exactly what's going on, but Moxley says to him, pull the trigger no matter the target, which is a very interesting thing to me because Will Ospreay, needs to embrace a darker side a little bit more to really prove himself to the group, and so we'll have to see how things turn out for him. Then we go to the Death Riders again, but now they are trying to win the titles off of Cope and Cage, the tag titles. Huge.
Cope is in normal pants.
Sorry?
Cope is just in normal pants during this match. Like, he's not in, cool tights. It's just black pants.
Oh.
He's just chilling.
I didn't even realize that. They're all singing along to his song, though. And
that was awesome.
I mean, they usually do that, but for an American crowd, that's huge. Yuta is getting "F-U Yuta" chants from the crowd, and that's basically.
Daniel Garcia's head goes directly into his dong. That was funny.
I did not see that. That is fire.
Christian Cave just slams Daniel Garcia's dick. Well, I'm sorry, Daniel Garcia's head right into Yuta's dick. That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, throughout the whole match, the Death Riders were fighting dirty, and then still they couldn't win. Low blow and a spear from Cope and Cage would get them the win. So they fought dirty in return, and still the tag
Christian
champs.
Cage.
Huh? Yeah, just
Christian Cage.
just Christian Cage being Christian Cage, and your father is dead. So, sorry.
God.
Well, that's what he does. That's what he. Whatever.
I know.
Anyway, oh yeah, that was in the. Oh goodness, I forgot that this is all part of this whole thing. So the dogs would come out and then attack Cope and Cage, and then the Bang Bang Gang enter, and then a bunch of other stuff is happening. Dave Finlay is running from Jay White, and then Cage. What was this? Oh yeah, so Brian Cage was out of the ring. No.
Christian Cage.
Christian Cage was out of the ring the whole time, and so he was confused, and his back was turned to everything, and so he thought that like Edge may have caused some of this and all this stuff, and just another unorganized beatdown segment from AEW, and it's getting a little bit annoying, but I get that like there's only so much you can do and whatever. Andrade has the MJF ring.
One thing before you go on to this,
Yes.
The crowd is also chanting "Kiss" at Jay White and Christian Cage when Jay White puts his hand out, and the crowd is going "Kiss, kiss, 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 kiss." Well, they're doing.
They got to do that for Punk and Cody next week. That would be tough.
Well, maybe it won't be like that next week after what happened at Saturday Night's Main Event. But we'll talk about that later.
We'll get to that later. So Andrade gets the MJF ring from Will Ospreay, and that's about all we learned from that segment. And then we have the conglomeration in which Ricochet, bald-looking enters, and then Lethal Twist. Yeah, with the Demand and Lethal Twist, who then attack Conglomeration, and then that's like the end of that segment. So, another kind of, I don't want to say nothing burger, but kind of not taking too much from it, besides the fact that the
Lethal
Twist
are on TV now.
Well, yeah, I was going to say the Lethal Twist is like actually going full out heel with them and all that, and that's about all we know. So now we get Andrade versus Doyle in this match, and Andrade has the Don Callis MJF shirt again, but now it is censored for TV purposes. So that's kind of funny. Andrade has an apron slam, which is out, and then there's a bunch of kickouts, and then Andrade does win and earns a shot at the national title. And so we'll
Andrade is still wearing the F Don Callis MJF shirt. Is that what you were saying?
He is, but it's censored.
Yes, that.
He has tape over it.
There were two matches. Well, there were two boos in this match that were pretty awesome. They were both from Jake Doyle something. There was a massive Liger bomb that Jake Doyle does, a sit-out power bomb. It was pretty awesome. And then he blasts Andrade out of the air with a forearm, and just clobbers him.
It was a good match, and there were a lot of close calls with kickouts and stuff. So.
And then he faces off with Mark Davis. Davis was going to go in to fight him. Andrade puts on the ring. Mark Davis runs away.
Oh, really? Did that even happen? I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I didn't write that down.
That happened at the very end of it.
I must have went to pee or something. I don't know exactly.
That would have made sense.
Anyways,
and then
Kenny Omega has... You good there, bro? Kenny Omega has...
Kenny Omega, huh?
Yeah, I know. Kenny Omega is having his celebration after winning the title in the ring, and the Young Bucks enter, and the OG AEW belt is back, so they present that to him. And then Will Ospreay enters, so everyone's coming out. Ospreay is mentioning...
Happy you landed on your feet after I cost you your work to the Young Bucks.
Sorry?
He says, happy you landed on your feet after I cost you your work to the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, there was that. Not only was there that, but he was also comparing his upcoming match with Omega to Goku and Vegeta.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it just caught me a little bit off guard. And then Kevin Knight enters for the 7,000th time in a segment like
he
this.
does.
Kevin
Jet
Knight
to fly.
enters. I want the title. Will shuffles his way away. Kevin wants his shot. And then Omega cuts. Oh, yeah, that's right. So Omega, I believe it was to Kevin Knight, cut the opposite of the Casey Navarro and Nick Nemeth promo. Because he says,
Yes.
You have it. You have it. But something else.
You screwed up.
Yeah, but you
screwed up because you
and-
joined Don Callis.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah, exactly. He wants him out of the Don Callis family, and all that stuff. He says, "I want the Jet, Kevin Knight. I want that Kevin Knight, not whatever this is." The same way that Cody Rhodes said that to John Cena during the heel run, all that stuff. And then Darby Allin's here, another discombobulated. Remember that this is about Kenny Omega, by the way? And now Kevin Knight and whatever. Darby Allin's here. Then the whole Don Callis family comes out and attack Darby and huddle around the ring. And then the Death Riders come out and they protect him.
Yeah, so everybody and their mother decides to come out and fight each other during this segment.
Everyone
Kenny can't have one good moment, the poor guy.
Here. Like,
Yes.
this is...
It's like watching like Avengers Infinity War. Like,
exactly. Except for, like, not peak.
Except it's not peak. It's more like watching,
Yeah.
it's like watching that Justice League movie.
Yeah. Jack Perry wants a match. That's all we learn from him in a very, very short promo. But hey, at least it's like put together.
Nick Camarado
Yeah.
and Aaron Solo are here of the Factory.
Yeah. I didn't take away too much from this. I just said it was a quick jobber.
I mean, there were F-Ice chants, but that's kind of it. Fletcher's backstage.
Yeah, Fletcher's backstage. Brodito enters. That's the only notes I have. Was it that uneventful?
Yeah, they kind of just give him like a bounty thing, stick it to his chest, and then Kyle Fletcher kind of crumples it up because he's annoyed.
Oh, wow. We really got the ball rolling on this one. Anyways, now we have Fletcher and Commander in.
Banger.
Yeah, a very good match. Fletcher defending his title. And he sells a Hurricane Rana at the beginning of this, which is, like, sick.
Commander pulls off two of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. A rope run Pillsbury flop to the outside. The thing where it's kind of like where he runs across the ropes and then does this, like the kind of a moonsault.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like the twisting moonsault. Where
he was absurd all match.
And then he does a 619 into a springboard Canadian destroyer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, there's been a lot of destroyers and stuff that I've noticed in AEW recently, and it's just like, I don't know. He's just
can't go to
amazing.
AEW thing without seeing a destroyer or a super kick.
He's been amazing in ring, but it didn't matter for the sake of his match winning chances, as Fletcher would win on a brainbuster. And then he tries to rip the mask off of Commander, in which Takeshita would come in and then whoop his big ol' ass. So exactly.
But wait, there's more.
Okada comes in and attacks Takeshita, and then Brodito comes in and attacks everyone. And so now, he clears ring, everyone fought, more discombobulation, as always. But really, this, at least in comparison to the other stuff, actually elevates the storyline more into actually knowing what's going on.
And then Bandito takes the International Championship and holds it up over his head, showing that he wants it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I forgot about that, and that's a good point, because they were talking about setting that up, and that would, if he wins it, make him a double champion, because he is world champion in Ring of Honor as well. We go backstage to Kenny Omega and Darby Allin and Moxley, and they're talking about humbling Kevin Knight, and that's about all we get from that. And then we get to the Brawling Birds, who are back, and they cut a promo about how they want to be the the best tag team in AEW currently, and it's just hype, and super exciting.
The last line.
I didn't.
So, Boston, why don't we go get pissed?
Oh, yeah, that. Exactly.
They take Renee Paquette to a pub.
Yeah, they're just getting drunk. So, yeah.
Take me too, please. Please. I know they probably have good food.
Yeah, sure. So now we cut to Jericho, who is in a promo package. He says, hell is coming for Ciampa. He accepts the challenge that was set out as Painmaker. And so this is, big things coming. Big things coming for Ciampa. And this is the first, I don't want to say the first challenge, but, this is definitely the biggest match that Ciampa is going to have so far in AEW.
He had a world title match against Darby.
Besides that. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I completely forgot about that. Because Darby was, fighting everyone. You know what? Yeah, you got a point.
He did fight everybody.
I guess what I'm trying to say is this might be the most brutal.
Yes.
Out of all.
Brutal, yes.
That's more what I was going for. Maybe not important to his career. But that being said, we haven't really got to see... I mean, not that I can recall, maybe in Black and Gold, but I don't think there was anything too, extreme that he did in WWE.
He did the most extreme match I think I could think of when it comes to this is probably his unsanctioned match against Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
At NXT TakeOver.
Yeah.
Where that match was brutal, but, nobody was bleeding. The closest we got was the ring got ripped up and we saw the exposed, wood. But that was kind of the closest we got to that.
So now we go to Darby Allin and Brian Cage, and Darby, as always, taking bumps like crazy. I mean, just...
This F10 by Brian Cage, and then, when he just chucks them off the ring post, was scary. Scary.
Darby Allin does take a comeback win despite being in a lot of pain. Now we have Okada and Fletcher backstage. Kyle says that he will defend the title against anybody. And then, was it... I don't know if it was Okada or Fletcher.
Bandito.
Yeah, so someone says they want Bandito. I don't remember who it was now.
It's Fletcher. Fletcher says he wants Bandito at Redemption, and he's gonna get it.
Okay, yeah, that you know what? Yeah, that's right. Because now I remember.
And then they announced that we get Darby Allin and Kevin Knight for the TNT title next week.
Yes, we do, and that's. I mean, well, because Kevin's holding on to the TNT title right now. It's just at some point, Kevin's got to get his world titles shot, so he shuts up. Because I'm tired of him saying this stuff every week about him wanting the title.
I'm assuming he's going to get it Redemption.
We'll just have to see. I'm just going to wait back and just wait for him to show up.
Yes. But we, the Divine Dominion and Mercedes Moné beat High End, Maya World, and Willow Nightingale. I don't have any notes for this match.
I do have a few. First off, just Willow Nightingale out the jump is getting a ton of action. Willow, every time she was the legal woman, was dominant. And then besides that, when she wasn't, then Dominion and Monet were dominant. So I think it was just interesting that they weren't working well as a team without Willow. So they needed Nightingale. She was the most important person on this team, and they would end up losing the match anyway. There was one concerning part from this, which was that there was a landing that Willow Nightingale took to the outside where her leg twisted a bit, and I would be devastated if she comes back from injury and then has an injury. That would be very awful to see, especially ahead of the likely push that she's going to get. But after all of that, Now we go to TNA, and we start with M by Elegance and Rosemary. And look who is back. It is none other than the personal concierge, who is blind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I mean, like,
he is
blind. Like, he is stumbling everywhere, having to be guided to the ring, got Tony D bandages on the face and glasses.
He had glasses before, didn't he? Or does he have, like, sunglasses on now?
He has sunglasses.
Okay.
I don't know if he had readers on before or exactly what was going on. But all of that happened because of Rosemary's mist. And the first spot in this match is Rosemary, like, teases the mist to M. Doesn't end up triggering it. And then just a lot. Sorry, just.
What?
All of this is just coming back to me. This was a hilarious match because on the outside.
Yes, it was.
On the outside of the ring, the concierge is clapping, and he's not even facing the ring. The concierge.
Like, the match is, like, right here. Like, the match is here, and he's just...
He wasn't that far off, but, like, the match was, like, they were fighting in, like, the front of the ring, and he's, like, facing the back. So they're, like, here, and he's like, yeah, let's go. After this whole thing, Rosemary is outside of the ring in front of the concierge, and imagine you're, like, his POV, and she's going, tapping on his shoulder and stuff, and he's freaking out, stumbling backwards. The most interesting thing to me was M by Elegance won this with champagne mist. So I don't...
Of course it was champagne.
Yeah. But...
It had to be.
The final note here is crazy. But that was a very interesting... I don't know if this is going to be a gimmick now or what. But...
I would be surprised if it's not a gimmick.
Yeah, because, I mean, in a way, that's actually clever, like, with the whole thing. But, like, that was
funny.
a win. And
That's really funny.
And reminder, this is the women's TV title tournament.
The TNA
this goofy
KO TV title tournament.
Yeah, this goofy-ass match. And the cherry on top is a personal concierge, goes to celebrate with everyone, goes to raise M's hand, does so, but it's actually the ref. And they're celebrating. He's pointing to the ref outside of the ring. Yeah. So just,
my God.
I love this whole blind thing. I hope
this is a gimmick and stays.
This is peak.
I want to go into this next match. I want to do this one because this was, in the words of Big E, big meaty men slapping meat. This was Moose versus AJ Francis.
Good point.
Frankie Kazarian is on commentary, who has popcorn. Because of course he does, and he's just ripping on both men. There was a pop-up powerbomb onto the apron. And it was nasty.
And that was AJ Francis delivering it to Moose too.
Yes.
And I mean, he took that. Oh goodness, that was ugly.
Speaking of things that are usually done by Moose, but done by AJ Francis in this match, Moose does like a springboard thing, like he's doing Cody's Cody Cutter.
Yeah.
And AJ Francis has the craziest spear.
Yeah.
As Moose is going to win this match because the tides do end up turning, Frankie Kazarian interferes, and Moose wins by DQ.
Yes, but that being said, you are missing one key moment, the superplex.
Yes.
The huge superplex. I don't remember who delivered it, but I mean,
Moose delivered it to
AJ.
It was Moose delivered to AJ.
I swear the ring looked like a trampoline. That was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frankie attacked Moose after the popcorn incident of Moose taking the popcorn out of his hand. And then after he beat him up, AJ hit his finisher down payment on Moose. And so Moose is just kind of left dead in the ring, and that's it. So.
And then the Righteous Deletion match
is announced.
Yes, the Righteous deletion match is announced, and the Righteous are smiling a ton at the call out from the Hardys, and they're like, whatever. So, yeah, that's an exciting thing. But there was one thing that we talked about a lot earlier, which was the State of the Order address.
Was that before? I thought that was main event spot. I was also watching this on YouTube, so.
The main event was Fabian Aichner and Cedric.
Okay, yeah, then I'm stupid.
State of the Order was right after Francis and Moore. Yeah.
Okay, then I have this out of order.
Yeah, you do have it a little bit out of order, but that's okay. The State of the Order address happened, and, I mean, Ali is just ripping on the crew like crazy. We should be the most dominant faction, but you guys gave me problems and disappointed me, and so we need someone to put you all in check. Mila Moore is the newest member of State of the of Order 4. Excuse me. So she was the mystery caller, and now she's like one of the higher ups in the group. I'm not sure if it's the right.
I don't know very much about Mila Moore. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, neither do I. But like, it kind of like the gimmick is giving me like Kiana James vibes, and so I don't know if it's gonna work the way it should or not. But one of the most interesting things taken away from this is that the international title number one contender will be decided, by the TNA roster voting on who will be the number one contender for the title. So we'll have to see.
The guys are just going to vote for themselves.
Well, there might be a rule.
Would you not just vote for you? I mean, unless it says not to do that, that would make sense. But
yeah.
Wouldn't you just vote for you?
I don't know. Maybe they'll say
to get a title shot.
Maybe he'll rig it and say that they voted for Ali, and then he just keeps the title or something. I don't know. We'll see. Right after we go to the injury report, Moose was evaluated. Lei Ying Lee has a head injury. Cedric and Fabian are cleared for the match tonight, and Nick Nemeth is in pristine shape. And also,
I was so
I was concerned for him too.
I was so concerned. I thought he was hurt.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, just like look at him,
Yeah, look at that, man. Just peak physical.
Yeah, right. Wade Barrett's drooling.
Okay.
They also said that Nick Nemeth had a record in chin-ups. So.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
I can't do a chin-up.
We go backstage with Elijah and Moose, and they announce that they are going to go after AJ and Frankie Kazarian next week in a tag match. And then we have Hudson versus Hale, and there was a really... Oh,
not good.
Goodness. There was a neck breaker to Thea Hale, or like, I guess, neck breaker. I don't know what that move was.
Like the air raid crash kind of thing?
Whatever, the knees to the neck.
Yes.
It was ugly. Like, that was, ooh, that looked like it hurt. But then Hudson would end up missing a leg drop, and Thea would capitalize and take the pin off of that.
With probably the worst coffin drop I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd. But that being said,
I don't know what that was.
Whatever, we can look past it. It was effective. She got the win, right? Because
I love Thea Hale, though.
Right.
And I love how she calls herself the dad, the determined and devoted, or something like that. And I love how they said that she wants custody of the TNA Knockouts Television Championship.
Yeah.
That was a good line from commentary. That was.
Yeah.
I think that was really good. But then, is the next thing the KC Navarro thing, or was it the?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So we go to Nick Nemeth, who's in ring.
Get out of my ring! Go! Get! Please!
And I was going to say...
Literally, KC Navarro just tries to enter the ring and then just... No! Leave! Get out! No! Go! Leave!
Because we talked earlier about the whole drop my number thing and all that. Casey enters the ring, and Nick Nemeth tries to enter the ring.
Immediately, little bros.
Yeah, he says, "Get to the back." Casey can't get a single word out the whole time, and then cuts the Ziggler promo.
Yes. And you can give, and you can give, and you can give.
He gave so much emotion into this damn promo. And, that was oh my goodness. This, the ant, what is that? Whatever. I'm sorry. There's something crawling up. Look at
I thought it was hilarious, though, at the end of it, where he just go...
You see the little speck?
Yeah, I see him.
Anyway.
I thought it was hilarious, though, that the only condition that he had to make this match was if he would go away.
Yeah. Well, if the condition, the stipulation is that it's going to be Casey and Nick for the title next week, but it's Casey's last shot, and if he loses it, then he can't, it's like restraining order, basically. He can't talk to Nick or anything. And so finally, we have Fabian Aichner and Cedric Alexander. Cedric is the champion, and...
How did they make these guys jobbers, man? How? Both of them.
Yeah. I was going to say, they put on a great match, and early on, I really did think that Aichner was going to take the win, because he looked dominant and was just every single thing was going his way early on, and I was just wondering how they were going to turn it around. Cedric Alexander would win very, very cheap after a system attack with the ref not looking because he is stupid. And yeah, that was about it. And then there was a beatdown after Cedric would take the win, and then
yes,
bang, bang. Sosa.
And
Ricky
Leon.
Sosa and Leon would make the save. And yeah, that's about all that came from that. That being said, I do just realize that we missed an entire match. So I do need to go. Bear Bronson and Ricky Sosa had a match earlier on with Brian Myers on commentary. Sosa was slammed out of the ring early on and then took control for the most part until he got distracted and punched Myers instead of keeping his eye on the ball. He was literally at a 2 count and then got out of the pin and punched Myers and then got pinned by Bear Bronson. So that was that. And then we go to SmackDown.
They announced that there was going to be a ladder match to crown an interim women's world champion at SummerSlam. And they will decide each of them in the coming weeks. Cody and Gunther brawl to start it off. Finn Balor defeated Tala Tonga. Tiffany Stratton defeats JC Jane to qualify for that ladder match. Charlotte Flair gets Nia Jax DQ'd against Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill qualifies for the ladder match. Blake Monroe attacks Candice LeRae backstage. Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair will have a match next week to qualify for the ladder match. War Raiders defeat Fraxium. Danhausen says that his cat will help him win tomorrow. It is a stuffed animal he believes is real.
Yep.
And Gunther versus Cody ends in a no contest after a brawl between those two, CM Punk and Sami Zayn.
I want to talk about Nathan Frazier for just a moment because I think he needs to stop doing the suicide dive because we briefly talked about it in the first episode, how he almost hurt himself. Once again this week, he headbutts the announce desk.
I think he's going a little too fast.
He's too athletic to do a suicide dive.
We've seen him go over the top and do topes before.
Yeah, it's just the suicide dive is more for people who aren't as athletic to do flips and stuff. So it's just I don't know how to feel about it. Upsetting to see him go down the Darby Allin route. But anyway, Saturday night's main event.
Fatal Influence versus Brie Bella and Paige.
Nikki Bell, Brie Bella.
Yes. Fatal Influence get the jump at the beginning. Fallon Henley gets busted open in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yeah.
JC Jane gets involved. roll up by Fatal Influence for new women's tag team champions.
That was really interesting to see. JC Jane literally just pushed Paige over in front of the ref. Right there.
It probably should have been a DQ.
Probably, I think the spot was supposed to be done slicker, and it was just a little bit of a mistake. But that being said, it's
because of this. I'm thinking that the way they're going to go for SummerSlam is Nikki Bella cleared.
No way. I highly doubt
Because
it.
I was going to say, because if she's cleared, they're definitely setting up Fatal Influence versus the Bella Twins and Paige.
Yeah, they'll do that at some point. Oh, and Paige. Ooh, that is
yes,
a good
the Bella
point.
Twins and Paige.
Yeah, because
I'm saying the entirety of Fatal Influence versus the entirety of the Bella Twins and Paige.
That's definitely possible. I could see it happening. It just depends on when Nikki's going to come back. I thought, I don't remember what the injury was, but I thought that she needed to be out for a few months, so I just don't know if it's possible or not. So then we go backstage to Kathy Kelly and Sami Zayn, and Sami says that he wants to be careful with his words that he's saying around everyone. Now, Gunther enters, and Gunther isn't as careful with his words as he says, "Don't mess up SummerSlam for me," straight to Sammy's face. So he's still on this thing where it's like, it's not his fault. You have to fix this. You have to fix this to all this, whatever. And so this is just constantly going on where Gunther doesn't want to take accountability for anything. Now we have Danhausen versus the guy with the head that we call JD McDonough.
Danhausen shows up in the G-Wagonhausen. He's in full Nick's gear. He's head to toe, blue, orange, in Nickhausen gear. He immediately tries to curse JD, who gets out of the way. Then Dom gets involved. They start 2v1ing. They alternate slamming Danhausen's head into the announce table. They just start beating the dog crap out of this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you start really feeling bad for him.
I mean, JD McDonough starts doing the Death Riders push-ups and everything. Like, it's getting ugly.
Michael Cole says on commentary that JD McDonough has a bison-sized head.
Yes.
They go to get something from under the ring. Micro Danhausens
Mini
come out from under the ring.
Mini Hausens.
I think it was Wade Barron on commentary asks if it was Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he did say if it was Rey. That was funny. That was a really good one. But I think it was interesting. Not only did one Minihausen come out of the bottom of the ring, but there was one on the barricade and one on the announce desk, just waiting there for them to turn around. So that was a great moment.
And then what's even dumber is the fact that we remember the stuffed animal we talked about a minute ago. So Danhausen,
I should have known,
shoves this thing into the cloning machine.
Mm-hmm.
The thing kicks down after smoking and pyro comes out. Carl Anthony Towns walks out of this.
That was insane.
Carl Anthony Towns walks out.
Oh my god.
And pulls off two of the craziest chokeslams I have seen from a celebrity.
Yeah, that was probably, I mean, like,
up.
Who else has a better chokeslam as a celebrity? There's like Jelly Roll and who else?
Jelly Roll had a decent one, but it's not as good.
Yeah, Shaq had one, wasn't that good. Snoop Dogg had one, wasn't that good. Carl Anthony Towns.
I will say, the one that Jelly Roll did have where he chokeslammed Austin Theory was very, very good, but it's also because he's Austin Theory.
That too, because of the selling.
And which I also think is part of this, but I think that was insane.
Dude, you can't say it's part of. You can't say the selling's part of the cat stuff when he put Dom through a table. So Dom really couldn't sell like that. Cat just was like that.
JD McDonough
he
can sell like his ass off, but.
And he was so like monotone the whole time, which made it really seem like it wasn't exactly. And the reason why I find that so interesting is it makes it seem like it's not actually him, and it was just a lab experiment, and he's just out here. I love this so much, and
me too.
And the other thing,
Danhausen hits the death drop and wins the match.
Yes, he does. So good for him. That was so much fun. But man, Kat got probably the second biggest pop of the night.
Yeah.
Besides Roman and Brunson.
We go to Lyra Valkyria versus Bailey. Lyra still looks like she hasn't slept.
Yeah, Lyra still
Lyra's
looks like
heel music is not bad. It kind of sounds like if she tried to join the Judgment Day.
Yeah, right.
Bailey's blasts Lyra in the face.
With an elbow.
And yes, with an elbow, and it busts Lyra open real good. Where they had to she has to leave the match multiple times to get blood wiped off of her face.
I mean, she when it first happened, you could see the trail through the mat on the outside of the ring. It at first, when she first started leaking, thankfully it didn't get this bad. But when she first started leaking, it started to look a little bit like the Swerve match. Like just a little bit, because remember when Swerve first gigged and you could see it pouring out onto the thing? Yeah. It had that effect squirting. At first. Yeah, it had that effect because it was coming out of the nose, so it's automatically going down anyway.
But Lyra wins with a bulldog choke.
Yeah.
A move that is usually a Jon Moxley finisher, which I really like as a finisher for a heel Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, because I think Nightwing is just too energetic for her right now.
But she does hit another Nightwing into the steel steps and writes Bailey off television.
Yep. And that's the thing is, if you're going to do the Nightwing, you have to make it effective in a certain way. And, putting it on the steel. I will say saying fly. Saying that it wrote Bailey off television is a little bit too early to say because we haven't had another show yet, so we don't know how long she's going to be off for, if at all. But because for all we know, she could pull a Cody Rhodes and just come back with bandages the next day and then no wounds whatsoever because Cody just does
black
that.
Guy the size of Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah, and then just nothing, because Cody's head got slammed in the car door and now he's fighting here at SNME. Anyways.
I hope Lyra shows up back with the undashing Cody mask.
Yeah, right. Remember when Rhea did that?
Undashing
that was so
Lyra.
Cool. Punk and Cody and Gunther and Sammy, and I really wanted to say that Bailey and Lyra was the best match of the night, but this match was
very, very good.
It was. This was a really good show in general, but
yes.
Anyways, early on, Punk's on the ropes during his entrance, and then they just fight. Sammy
was up there doing his yeah.
Oh no, Sammy, yeah. Oh no, who made their entrance second?
Sammy.
Oh, okay. Rose and Punk are both in Nick's gear, so this is we're just kind of doing brownie points for these fans every single time a babyface wears Nick's gear. Cody just throws his weight belt into the crowd. Gunther and Sammy escape submissions with a poke to the eye from Gunther to Punk. And just throughout this match, there were so many times where it's just sequence after swing. There was the one where they're just trading blows, and then they're all just dead in the ring. And that was just...
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Gunther hits a power bomb. Cody hits a crossroads. Actually, no. Cody he has Punk in a choke, and then Cody does a crossroads to Gunther. And then Sammy does a does a Blue Thunder Bomb. Punk does a go to sleep, and then everybody's down.
Yeah, and when you talk about how those sequences work and how quick you need to think when it comes to tag team wrestling. Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes don't get enough credit for how good they are when working in tag matches. Because Cody's done so many good things in tag, so has Sammy, and this was just... I guess I didn't think about it because it looks like a random matchup, but it actually worked so well. So Sammy all of a sudden... wipes out Charles Robinson with CM Punk, And then Rhodes goes for his disaster kick and accidentally takes out Punk. So now Gunther's in control, and you think he's in control. Oh, big man, whatever. And then all of a sudden, out the bottom of the ring comes Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis.
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
And then
I think of Chelsea
I just wanna
Green every
point out
time
now,
someone
before-
says Nicholas.
I just want to say it now before we forget.
Mhm.
Today, they announced Nick Aldis versus Gunther for SummerSlam. Today.
They did?
Yes.
I didn't see this. What?
Yes. At Fanatics Fest, they did announce it.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been following all the Fanatics Fest stuff. I just know that...
Me neither,
like, Jonah
but
has
I just saw it on Twitter.
Okay. Well, that's great to know. Because I was
No,
going to
that's
talk
going to be a
about
match.
if it's actually going to lead up to anything or not. I guess we know now.
Nope.
Let's
It's
go.
going to be a match.
Is
So I
that
wonder
Nick's
if they'll give
first
him
match
his-
in WWE?
Yes. So I wonder if they'll give him his NWA music. Because they have his NWA music in WWE 2K.
I guess then, I would think.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're gonna make him a song or if they're gonna let him use the same thing.
Yeah, hopefully they do it the way they should and don't Def Rebel. How do you Def Rebel Nick Aldis? Like,
Give him some crappy British music.
well,
I wanna talk about the tons of LARPing that went on during the next segment.
before we go to that, I just want to first off specify Cody and Punk take the win, but as they are leaving the ring, Punk takes the belt, throws it over his shoulder, and whips Cody in the eye with it when bringing it over his shoulder. So I just
And then
thought that was
Cody's
a
like-
kind of funny like cherry on top to that match.
Yeah.
And then now we have the acknowledgement ceremony. Why is it
So
the main
this
event?
This was just a whole lot of LARPing the entire time. You could see how he feels about it. Brunson and Roman come out. Roman is wearing for sure AI generated t-shirt. Roman gives a custom blue World Heavyweight Championship to Jalen. And then we hear Tyrese. Well, I'm sorry. We hear Seth Rollins music, and we think, oh, Seth's coming out, and it's Tyrese Halliburton,
Yeah.
which means two things: A, they're really dragging this out, and B, they couldn't afford Wemby.
Wemby wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, but he was at Fanatics Fest, so you never know.
He wouldn't have done it. I hate to
Yeah, it
break
would
it.
be really funny if he did.
It would have been awesome,
But,
but he wouldn't have done it.
And then Rollins attacks Reigns from behind, and Brunson is just standing there doing nothing to help. Like, he just stands there for a good 3 minutes while Roman gets his ass beat. And then...
I think part of that is he was probably told by Triple H or someone, just don't do anything. Because last time they told someone to do anything, Travis Scott blew out Cody's eardrum.
Well, I get that, but I'm saying, like, as a
looks dumb.
realism perspective.
Yeah.
In a realism perspective, he's just watching this guy who just gave him a good, like, a belt.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing nothing, like, just getting his crap beaten out of him, and he's just standing there with this belt, like,
Yeah.
in the corner. And then the neurons finally start firing in Jalen Brunson's head, and then he decides to just, that's a good idea. Let's stand between Seth Rollins, multi-time world champion, and the guy whose ass he's kicking. And just stand
He
there
puts
and
up
just
a
look at him.
screen. He
And just
literally
look at
puts
him.
up a screen, and he's just like...
So then he just starts talking crap. Roman comes in, Superman punch, and then I believe he spears him. Yes, he does. He spears him. As Rollins and Halliburton walk away, they get the NBA championship out, and Roman starts LARPing with that. He just starts raising it above his head like he won it.
The whole time that he was doing the acknowledgement thing with, the one hand holding the trophy, I was thinking, imagine he drops it.
Dude, it would be so funny if he would have dropped that.
I mean, especially considering
Live television.
that, the history behind it and all the aura that Roman Reigns has that everyone talks about, if he could have like one career-defining non-aura moment, like, dude,
It would be that.
yeah. Roman Reigns had the craziest switch when it comes to aura ever. He was talking about slap yourself on the indies. You remember that?
No, I don't.
His catchphrase on the indies was, "You should slap yourself." Because it was like a PG way of
Seen that.
saying, yeah, that was bad. And then there's Suffering Succotash Son. And then there's the blue
That was so
contacts. And then there's all the shield
The
stuff.
blue contact lenses.
There's everything. Remember?
Isn't that these baby blues like me?
Remember when he's backstage and he butchers the line and then he goes... Oh my
And
goodness.
now, meanwhile, he doesn't have to just say a word and the crowd is like, yeah!
Yeah, exactly. Cleveland! Yeah! Detroit! Anyways, Donovan, as always, thank you for joining me. From Donovan.
Thank you for joining me.
Ryan.
That was 3 hours of recording. If you're watching
And
this.
guess what? We don't have to
Guess who
do
has to
this
edit it?
again. We don't have to do this again. We can just
We
do
don't have to record for 3 hours.
recordings that'll be like one hour.
You're gonna have so much fun editing this, aren't you?
Yeah, that's gonna be great. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's go chat. From everyone here at Locked Up. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm out of here. Teach me how to doogie. Teach me how to doogie.